when last we met, no, do you know what? Aggie, do you want to give us the recap of last session?
Good mic test.
Yeah.
You like to play games, right? You want to take risks.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. So what we did last week, after Sir Ribbits disappeared from the range of our compass, we decided to play it safe and go to lick our wounds for the night. So we went to the Dog Meats or Dog Mouths, I don't really remember, tavern, where we, met some people, ate and rested. The day after, we followed the trail of Sir Ribbits by using the compass to detect his peculiar magic book. And we arrived in a tavern where we were greeted by none other than Jarlaxle, a famous pirate that most of us knew about, especially Gris. And he let us access to Sir Ribbit's room that was in a bad state. It was destroyed and particularly wet. We found some letters indicating that he was maybe working with the Brotherhood, and we found some a smashed lead box where we think was probably stashed the orb that he stole. And we stopped at the part where we had to decide if we would take Jarlaxle on his offer to help him retrieve the artifact that apparently is his. I think that's it.
Sounds about right. Anybody else got anything to add?
Wasn't it that it wasn't so much a lead case had been smashed, but like a lead compartment had been removed from the case to
the lining?
So that
one of the
concealment is obviously on the move with Ribbits.
Yes. So it was indeed more the case that it looks like it had been smashed so that somebody could take out a side of the lead-lined box to conceal, presumably, the Netherese orb. You also found Sribbits' spellbook as well, which I've only just remembered. I really need to make notes of the things I need to do from session to session. That's on me. So yeah, I know which spells it is. I just need to drag and drop them at some point.
Well, here's a tip, guys. If one of the spells is not Misty Step, then the Sribbit's CR has just gone up.
So yes, so you met Jarlaxle Banray, who was in the tavern when you arrived, and he has made a proposal that you will head to the north to seek out this artifact that belongs to him, which he says that whilst the pirates that you originally met with were trying to sell it, it was not theirs to sell, and so he's looking for somebody to recover it. And there's a lot going on in Luskan at the moment where he does not have the manpower momentarily to send people up to the north, and you seem already well invested in trying to find it yourselves. So he has made the offer, made the proposal for you to go and seek it out for him. And
That's your
you
name.
seeking
That's what I do.
to Lutetia it out for him, and he said he would let you discuss the proposal, see if you have any terms, and he has headed downstairs. So no, you were not having this conversation in front of him. You were all momentarily gathered, and for the sake of the people that may be watching this in the future and don't have access to our private Discord server to be able to read your intercession roleplay, which was about as effective as the one that we did for the Curse of Strahd group, what had been decided was, let's see. So, Turilos, well, what do you think about the curious man and his overly generous offer? Do we even have a proper choice in all this? And then I had replied from Griss's knowledge check, Jarlaxle's reputation precedes him. Anyone with as much power as he cannot get there by being someone who continuously goes back on their word. Whilst you hear he is no stranger to a double cross, it's typically reserved for those who he, or whoever pays him enough, considers an enemy. He is well known for being a man of his word and willing to bargain, though the terms ultimately always swing his way, even if they don't appear to at first. And then Eileen said, probably no choice by this time, but at the very least we can choose the way in which we accept. He does seem like the type to have a finger in almost every pot. Maybe he might know something about your uncle, Tyrilos. Tyrilos said, while that might be true, I'm not sure it'd be wise to inform him of such connections, not to mention that I would not like to hinder our position in these negotiations by asking for favours that affect only myself. I'm really curious of what Sir Gris thinks about our prospective patron, and how far Lutetia is willing to go in order to get this expedition on track. Good prompting there for the players. You should have just atted them to get them in quicker. Lutetia, he seems open to negotiations, while free and secure transport to the region is what we were looking for. It wouldn't be bad to negotiate some food and equipment to take with us. Sir Gris said, personally, I'm content to go along with what we decide is best. He clearly considers that we are in some degree debt to him, but resolving that debt seemingly aligns with Letitia's eventual goals anyway. And Turlios, this is all well and good. I did not believe we could just walk away from this. What is it that you want out of the expedition, Letitia? And what sort of support do we expect out of him? He said he won't have to worry about the ships, but I imagine the fury one might want to reclaim his honour. Do we bargain for information, supplies, guarantees of safety upon finishing the expedition? So basically, the intercession roleplay decided very little. So would you like to carry that on from there?
It was just a setup.
It was the setup. There was the setup on top of the setup. So you're all kind of milling it over. You come to the conclusion that you might be in a position to have a favourable exchange here. You have some negotiation. He's approached you and said he wishes for you to go to the north, past the spine of the world. So what is it you want from him? What would make you accept such a thing? Letitia obviously wants to go anyway, but what for the rest of you?
Well,
if you don't know anything in particular that you want, then if you wish to head downstairs and see what you can get and kind of speak it more openly with him, then that is also fine. So you guys decide when you are ready to go downstairs.
I will hover near the door expectantly and look to my companions and see if anyone's moving to join me or if they have specifics we wish to discuss.
At this point, I think I'm just shrugging and hovering closer to Sir Gris.
it would seem that we agree that we have to work with this man for now, but we do lack information about the artifact and about what the expedition may bring. So it would be wise, I think, to try and poke for more information when we deal with him.
I agree with Trielos, and we might also need to think about having some warmer clothing, because I heard the weather is unforgiving up north,
Indeed.
especially for a half-naked fish.
Oh, I'm perfectly fine. I worry more about you.
Indeed, we should ensure that we are well dressed and well equipped for a voyage up north.
I'm looking my companions up and down. Maybe. I just let out.
Let's go then.
Okay.
And I join them.
So the
Downstairs I will head.
Okay, and as you do, it would appear that the gathering of people that were at this table have now dispersed to other tables, and pulled up chairs to the edge, and there are now 4 empty chairs sat around a table with Jarlaxle sat on the other side. There is a drow female that's kind of like floating around. She's got this dark red leather arm with this high upturned collar. She's got her white hair tied back in this long braid down her neck, and she's kind of floating around, keeping an eye, but she seems to be, of all the people, probably the more important that's near Jarlaxle. I'll give you from the role that you made before, you don't necessarily, you don't recognise who she is. And as you come down, you can see that there's the 4 chairs laid out, and on the table, this big circular table, there is a decanter of a golden brown liquid, and then a jug of water and 4 empty glasses. He gestures to the seats. I presume you have had sufficient time to consider my proposal. Please.
I will slide into a seat.
I will as well.
Sorry, Trilas, I like to put my feet up. No.
Oh,
No.
that's not going to be a problem because Turielos will actually stand behind Eileen's seat.
Okay. And Letitia? Taking a
I
seat.
will. I'm standing behind Gris, like a bit.
Like the bodyguard.
I think you said you're standing behind Turelios.
More like a shy girl, like I'm intimidated by Jarlaxle,
Okay. And he kind of watches you two not sitting down, and kind of then looks between Gris and Eileen, and kind of like look in his eye, you can tell that he's now trying to work out who's in charge out of these two, because clearly these two stood up behind are just supplicants of these two powerhouses that have taken seat.
I mean, if it's the big broad knight or the strange masked old woman, we know it's definitely going to be her, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got to be. Yeah, the mysterious woman with her bodyguard sat next to her.
What's
Yeah,
the little old? I've forgotten her name, but the little one in all like Defenders and Daredevil, the old Chinese woman who like is the massive crime lord, Madame
Spoilers.
Lao.
Spoiler.
Oh, you find out in like her first scene.
Oh, dear.
So he kind of like nods, and the barkeep, with his owl still on his shoulder, comes over and kind of like picks up the decanter of some type of strong spirit as you kind of like lift it, and he gestures and he kind of like approaches both of your glasses with it. The 2 that are seated, not the 2 that are not.
I'll just discreetly palm down over mine and water, if you wouldn't mind.
Okay. And Eileen? Does she drink with her mask on? Does she have like a little hole with a straw?
Yeah, a straw magic item.
I mean, to be perfectly fair, I'm imagining that her mask is not completely covering it. Like, there is a bit below where it's more like a piece of cloth.
Okay, cool. It's a bit like a masquerade mask type thing, masquerade ball.
Yeah, so it's closer to that.
Okay, cool.
I'm just gonna reach out and take my drink, but also the drink that Gris refused to drink.
Oh no,
Well,
he's
he
not
wasn't
poured you
bored,
one.
he wasn't bored.
No, he wasn't pouring you ones because you two were stood up. So he's just poured a drink for the 2.
I will just take the one from Gris then.
Okay. So as he goes to you kind of like, as he goes to kind of, so as Gris kind of puts his hand down, Letitia kind of like leans around and takes the glass and like hold it towards the barkeep who, okay, and fills a glass up for Letitia. And you say Eileen isn't having a drink?
Eileen's gonna have a drink.
Okay, pours a little nifter, kind of like third of the glass, a nice measure. And then it kind of like, as Letitia's now taking a drink, he kind of like looks at Turios. Is Turios wanting some hard spirits, or is he happy for water?
Water is good.
Okay, and he plus this
I,
big.
I actually already asked for water before. I don't remember if I got it. Or
Maybe
heading
you did
upstairs.
actually.
Yeah,
I
might
can't
be.
remember. Okay, well we'll say that there's already.
I'll just give up my glass and for a refill.
I'll say that there's already a glass filled with water for you. So he takes it, fills up the other one. So you've all got your drinks now.
Trelios,
And,
that's a vase!
He pours a glass from the gold decanter, the golden liquid for Jarlax, and then places the decanter next to the drow. And he picks up his glass and gives it a sniff, and then puts it back down and says, before we raise a glass to our deal, perhaps we should discuss the terms of it. That is, I presume what yourselves were talking about upstairs.
We are certainly open to hearing the specifics of what is expected from you and how you hope to equip and furnish us to complete this task, this retrieval.
Well, of course, I am obviously a man of coin, so you will be fitted as well as needs for those that are traveling to Icewind Dale.
That's the name of a module.
He said the title.
Roll credits.
We did a thing last week, didn't we? The scrolling text.
Oh, yeah.
That will be of little importance for me. We can have you measured and get some fine, warm clothing for your journey, and I can provide the means for you traveling at least a little ways north. It has been interesting what has been happening up there for the few rumors that have managed to come back to my ear.
If I may, do you have some men there that will, welcome us and show us the ropes and directions, or are we just left to ourselves to fend for ourselves once we arrive on the shores?
I have men throughout Icewind Dale, but not all of them are active agents, I suppose you would say. Many of them have taken their position and do the task that they were put there for. But I do have one contact.
And is there like a password, a secret dance, handshake, something, so they know that we're working for you?
Yes, if you go into the square of East Heaven when the clock strikes the afternoon and you do a dance, my man will find you.
I'm typing this out, you dickhead, to get to the end.
Oh, he's saying this, and then he kind of gives Letitia a little look and a smile. No dance, no passwords, but if you make your way to East Haven, which is on the northern east of the settlements, 10 towns, and ask around for the man Duckett. You ask that name and somebody will come and find you.
Duckett.
Duckett.
Very well. You were speaking a moment ago of rumours that have reached you about what happens in Icewind Dale.
Believe what you will about the cause, but it does seem something of something out of the ordinary. The winter there has decided is not to pass. The ices have not melted, the snows have not disappeared, and the people there seem to be growing patient and desperate.
More so than usual, you mean?
More so. Around this time, you would be expecting some way of a thaw. I think Turios needs to learn to concentrate, though, instead of drawing his patterns. He watches Turios as he's drawing on the table with his finger.
He's peeling the label.
So there is something afoot, but what it is, I do not know. It has been hard to get any information from Dale, and as it stands, I am behooved to keep as many people in Luskan as I can. I do not know whether it is something that is going on with the Dale itself, or something that the Arcane Brotherhood and whatever exploits they are up to in the north, whether it is something that they have brought home.
You suspect it's them?
I never like to suspect anything. I like to make my decisions with cold facts. But they've been active for many months now in the north, and it has been some time since I've been able to get word back from my man. And so I would be lying if I did not say that part of you heading up there for this little task that we have would also benefit me for you to be able to relay a number of messages once you find my man.
This is certainly beneficial for us. I let out. Although, watching our party, I do need to ask, what have you seen in us that makes us trustworthy?
Roll me an insight check.
Come on, roll.
Okay. He kind of like looks across you all and smiles slightly, and you just catch a little kind of like upward glimpse at Letitia. But this is just very very subtly. Just catch something. This is you have proven yourselves to be quite capable. You're already aware of what it is that I seek, and the fewer people that I have to get involved in this, the better. The fewer that know about the orb is beneficial for everybody involved, myself and yours included. And so, if I've decided poorly, if it was another group of people that managed to track the location of a missing relic, and it was another group of people that managed to best not one but two of the High Kings, the High Captains, lackeys, then perhaps I should be looking elsewhere, but as far as I'm aware, it was indeed the four of you.
I shrug at this and just kind of point at us. Let's just see what you get.
So, as far as capable goes, you tick the boxes that I need. You don't seem to be aligned to anybody in particular. And quite frankly, you're already in the north. The way I see it, this puts you in a very good negotiating position, do you not think? And he smiles. So now you know what I've asked of you, and what I'm willing to provide in terms of comfort and transport. What would you ask of me? And he picks up his drink and kind of like swills a bit, but still doesn't take a drink.
For myself, I can't ask for much. Just passage would be enough for me. However, for my friends, if you're willing to provide, and at this, I'm letting it at them.
Yeah, I sort of lean back slightly in my
You what?
What was that?
I lean back slightly.
Oh.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can now, yes.
Oh, did I go crackly or something?
And you just suddenly cut off.
Oh, how strange. Yeah, I lean backwards in my chair. Just giving it some thought, nursing my water, glancing to the right to Eileen, seeing if anything's coming to mind from her.
Mm,
Do you mean?
I'm a bit confused.
Yeah, I didn't just spoke. Maybe you meant Letitia, right? Or
No, I'm sat with Eileen, aren't I? I'm not craning back behind me, exposing my throat. Equipment, of course, would be most necessary. I don't know if you feel that an amount of coin would be required to have us get by in Icewind Dale, and perhaps a modest amount for my companions for their labour. I imagine it is a dangerous trek from here to Icewind Dale.
And he's sitting there, seems to be nodding, accepting, listening. That is it. You are coin, that is all you're after.
Forgive me, your name is well known to me, and your metal, but I must confess I do not know much about what it is you are able to provide.
And he kind of tries to hide his glee. Like you see the smile rise slightly. There are a great many wants and desires that every person has. Some people are simple folk and just want coin. Some people are happy just for the adventure. Some people have a secret. Some people have somebody they want removed. Some people, they have information that they're looking for. I can provide many of these things.
And I must admit I find myself firmly in the second category. I'm travelling, trying to establish... No, not establish. Trying to continue the good name of my order. And, yes, enjoy myself along the way, see the world. So the adventure, for me, is a great deal of motivation. Anything
What
that
he
makes it
mean-
more comfortable is helpful.
No, don't listen to him. What he means is coin. We need coin to travel, and that's it.
I do not smile as he says that. As she says that.
Jalaxel, who sees Letitia as she says it, does smile at Letitia's
I am laughing at this in
boldness.
character.
So, a little bit of coin, but little else, points to Eileen. Just somebody that is happy for the experience and simply happy for the comforts that I can try and bestow as much as possible. Although there are little to be found in Icewind Dale, that much I will admit. Coin,
Unfortunately, that is something I know.
and he looks at Eileen. You have traveled that far north before.
A lifetime ago, it feels like.
Well, no doubt you have many contacts yourself there. Perhaps even more than I. Perhaps.
Doubtful. Once you live as long as I, most of them are probably 6 feet under.
It is most definitely a harsh place to live. That much I know. I've never traveled that far north myself. Luskin's about as uncomfortable as I'm willing to be. And then he kind of looks around, looks up at Letitia and says, Coin seems to guide you, as well as a personal invested interest in finding this orb. Perhaps
Well,
when
I don't personally care for coin, but coin can be exchanged for anything else I care about. So it seems like a valuable thing to have.
he nods and smiles. Perhaps between you and I, when you find this artifact for me, then perhaps I will allow you to take the next step in its use. What say you on that?
I'm not sure what that means, but I'm excited for it.
And he very much grins at that. Not a sinister grin, he's like, okay, I like it. And then he looks at Turelos. And what of you?
This last remark brings us to something I think we are in dire need of. You are searching for these artifacts, and it would seem that this is not the first one you have encountered. Would you know anything more about them? For we are mostly in the dark, as far as I know.
This particular item that has been taken from me, unfortunately know very little. It was procured and then transported before I'd had the chance to finally take a look at it. Well, not me per se, but my people. And so I do not know exactly what it does. Once it is returned to me, then that is something we can find out together, I like to think. I would hope. All I know is that the Arcane Brotherhood have an invested interest in whatever they believe they have found in the north. There is speak that they have found some ruins of what was part of Netheril in the glacier to the far east. There may be truth in it. That much we can perhaps find out in time. But I believe that this particular item might perhaps give us an edge over whatever it is that they are doing. There is a lot of information to gather still, and hopefully, as my proxy is, once you are in the north, perhaps you'll be able to find out more information for me and work with our contact there.
This does sound interesting enough. But as far as my goals go, from my limited knowledge of your person, excuse me, for I am not well acquainted in this past, I gather that you are someone who left his home and entered a new world and carved a name and a place for himself. Let's say that I would like to follow those footsteps in a way.
Indeed. And he kind of like leans back on his chair and kind of like puts onto two legs. And kind of like weighs you up and down, and it's kind of like he's quite surprised to hear you say that. You know, you're quite quiet and reserved, kind of like taking a step at the back and like carving your place out in the world. I don't think there's anything better that man or woman can do for themselves. You never know how long we're here and how quickly we can get snuffed out. So making a mark, doing something of importance, I dare say that if you stick with me and follow through on this endeavor, many people will know your name.
I nod slightly.
Well, it seems like your needs are relatively simple, and so clothing, travel, some supplies. Between here and the north, we can provide them for you. No problem. We can have coin put to one side to help you in your expenses. Not all of it up front, of course. There's an element of trust. I still do not know you well enough to let you walk out of here with enough coin that could set you up at the other side of Faerun for a long time. However, I have coin here, I have coin in East Haven, and so if you find my contact Duckett. I'm sure that they will be able to pass a little more your way. And then he kind of thinks for a second and then digs into his a coin purse on his side, and he takes out 4 coins. Like at first, they just look like slightly oversized, large silver coins, just a normal silver. And then he kind of like places them in between Gris and Eileen, and you kind of see that they are predominantly silver. And then on one side there is like some kind of inscription, runic language, which is written in Drow, if any of you can speak it. And then kind of like one of them is already turned over, and on the other side you can see that there is the head of a female, and it is got some kind of like webbing around the edges, and the webbing, it looks like a faint, slightly green sheen to it, to this silver coin. And he kind of looks between you, the 4 of you, and says, "These are worth more than coin alone. Who have we just lost? We have just lost Turielos."
1, 2, 3.
And then put it in her butt. So, as you lost connection to Turielos, said, "These are worth more than coin. These are what you might be able to call a favor. Each one of these coins can be used by each one of you. Or one of you can use all 4 if you wish. But there are times and places where money alone might not get you through a door or get you what you need. But anybody that knows anything about anything will know what this coin is, especially up in the north. And so you can trade each one of those in and cash in a favor as and when you need them. In my name, of course." And anybody that does not know what that coin is, chances are that they can be swayed just as easy by the gold kind. This is for those that can't.
Nice.
I have,
Oh,
just in
very
case
good.
you're on Do Not Disturb, I have sent you a Discord message, DM.
Oh. Oh, sorry. Yeah, okay. That is a good point. You need to send that privately. That's
I
fine.
just
Yeah,
I just don't want them in my group.
Then yes. Okay, sorry. It is not. Sorry. Yeah. So Drow. It seems to be in Drow, but it is Undercommon that would be reading it. So if you are familiar with Undercommon, then you would know what it is. Okay. So he looks between for you and says, "Does all of this sound like a fair deal to you?"
So far, a far better deal than what I was given in life.
Oh, that's sad.
I'm sorry to hear that, but strange you'd bring it up right now.
Well, I like to treat my friends well, and hopefully, in time, we'll become friends. You will help me, and I will help you. That is all I can say. And I feel it is always best to start negotiations such as these on an even keel, where everybody feels like they have got something that is of value and importance to them. And he kind of holds his glass and holds it up slightly, kind of like picks up off the table. So, we have an accord.
I am content, and I look to my companions.
Sounds like a deal.
Consider ourselves acquainted to you, Mr. Jalexel. And before we toast to this venture, may I inquire what it is that we're about to drink?
It is nothing more than whiskey. Fine whiskey. It is a Luskan special. Has a touch of rum in it, but only a touch. You don't want to spoil the grain too much.
Well said. This is certainly to make us warm for the ride.
He nods and raises his glass. So everybody, and everybody's raises. Takes a big swig of his drink. And it is the finest, one of the finest. I don't know, you might have really fine palates and you've been so far out of the world, but it tastes top quality. Far better than you would expect to find served in a place like this.
I should have this one.
You should what?
I should have this one for my tavern.
You should have this one for your tavern, yeah. And takes a drink and puts it down and says, as far as the current whereabouts of our friend, it's unknown. We don't know who he is traveling with, what he is necessarily looking like, but I think it's fair bet to say that he is most likely traveled north by road, probably along the northern means. There's not much chance of him catching a boat to Fireshire. The winter is not yet past, even less so in these current times. But even at the best of times, it would normally not be until early summer until the stone dock unfreezes and becomes usable once more. So Fireshire is very much locked in. I would expect that he is traveling by road on horse direct to Hundlestone, which is at the edge of the span of the world before one passes up the Ten Trail into Icewind Dale. The four of you will be following, hopefully, in his footsteps. My people will try to get some sort of eyes on him, but I'm not sure. There was a message there that suggested there's some way that he might be traveling unseen. Don't quite know what that means yet, but it suggests that he definitely has some help from those much higher above him. And it seems the Arcane Brotherhood would be the best guess at that. So, you have seen him, I have not. You've seen the item. I think you are potentially our best bet finding it. I would suggest setting off as soon as possible. By road, it is 2 days' ride on horseback from here to Hundlestone. 4 days in a wagon. And he kind of pauses for a moment, kind of like thinks. I do not know if we have enough horses to accommodate the four of you, especially as once you reach Hundlestone, if you get that far on horse with them, you won't be taking them much further. You will not be taking them into Icewind Dale. If the reports that I'm getting, it seems it is a little bit too snowy up that way, too deep for the kind of horses that we have here. I think a man on a wagon taking you up that far might be the best bet. At least I can get that wagon back this way. Does this sound acceptable to you?
It does. Can I ask, the female drow who's been sat here with us.
She stood, but yeah, she
she stood.
Yeah.
All right, okay, that probably answers my question. I was trying to work out the dynamic. Does she seem like she's here as a participant in this meeting, or does she seem like she's his, maybe not muscle, but his to-hand guard? But if she's standing up, is she like a ways back or something?
Yeah, she's kind of like floating around. She's keeping an eye on everything, but yeah,
Okay,
she's
cool.
obviously she's obviously more important in the rank structure than the
Yeah.
rest of them like sat around. Yeah.
Cool, fair enough.
It'll take us a little time to get some clothing prepared for you. Probably quicker for me to send a word to Hundlestone and get it made up that way, but I do fear that the quality you might find might not be enough to live up to the threats in the environment of Icewind Dale. And so I think it probably makes more sense for us to take a little time here, prepare well, and send you on your way. Get some of your supplies to hand, get a wagon prepared, and get things loaded up for you. So, if you have half a day of things you want to do, then now's your time. Other than that, I will send you to. He kind of leans, looks over his shoulder, and the woman comes over and whispers in his ear. Klaskers is an outfitter in Luskin. I think he'll be able to accommodate you, provide you with the winter gear that you require. Everything else I can have loaded up onto a cart and be ready for you at the north gate. Let's say around midday.
Very well, thank you.
Very well. You have your business. I have the rest of mine. I have no doubt that we will see each other again sometime, but it will likely be some time. And he kind of like stands up, and as he stands up, all his people stand up with him. He says, remember, East Haven, find Duckett. They'll be able to help you.
You said you had some messages for us to deliver up there. Are these verbal, or are you to provide us with missives?
He smiles. You'll receive the messages in time, but I need to find out something first.
The DM needs to write them.
No, you need to be in the right place for me to send them.
Did you... Sorry, I know you said that you had coin with him now. He hasn't handed over any sort of purse at this point, has he? Just
No.
the drow favor coins?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Very well. He kind of stands up, kind of rolls his shoulders, straightens his hat a little bit, and a pleasure doing business with the four of you.
A pleasure to finally meet you, Charlasco.
And he smiles, tips his head slightly, and then starts heading to the door with his people filing out with him.
Forgive me, Jolaxel.
And he stops.
It's
at the
nothing
doorway.
personal. No. You mentioned the development of that trust. You also mentioned an initial payment. Is that to be waiting at the wagon as well? And I smile.
It is.
Slightly as I say it.
I'll make sure that all your coin for your travel is available to you when you arrive at the wagon. Half now, and I will make sure that half reaches you when you find Duckett. Does that sound fair?
Bow my head. Generous. Thank you.
I am nothing but. And he tips the brim of his hat, milady style, and heads out of the Green Garnet, leaving the four of you stood and sat around the table.
I pick up my drow favor coin and inspect it for a moment before tucking it away in my pocket.
Sure, I will let you roll me an investigation or a history.
Oh, okay, yeah. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. 19.
Okay, nice. No, 19. You are aware that this is old drow currency. This is not seen around on the surface world that much. I'll let you decide how you have come across this knowledge in your travels.
Sure.
But it is from an it's like an older currency, probably not necessarily used that much. There's not as many of these coins that are flying around. You know, it's not like you go, down to men's or brands and then everybody's just spending these coins all the time.
Sure.
The female on there seems to be of one of the older rulers, and obviously the spider webbing and the attribution that the drow have with Lolth, that all comes as part of it. The slight green sheen to the coin. It is inlaid slightly with adamantine.
Okay. And you said that there was an inscription in what? Undercommon?
In Undercommon, do you speak Undercommon?
I do.
You do? Okay. Do you want me to... Well, I can tell you out loud what it says. It says, in she we follow, and she gives us the bounty. In some weird, hard variation.
Mm-hmm. Do I capitalize bounty like it's a chocolate bar?
Chocolate bar, yeah.
Cool. Thank you. I will... Ooh. Oh, you said Jolaxel had already left, hadn't he?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I'll still do it. Do I, despite myself? Yeah, I read it. I read it in my own head. I don't mutter it out loud as I'm reading it. Cool.
Fine, keep your secrets.
Oh no, I'll share it later.
Okay. The day is yours. You have been given instruction of what you can and could do, where you need to go. But if there's anything else, if there's anything you think you want or need, now is the time. What do you want or need for your journey?
That all went much more peaceful than I expected.
I am scared to think what you were expecting.
Violence.
Before we entered the building.
Oh, that's fair.
Indeed, it was a sequence of somewhat pleasant surprises. If we have half a day, I would like to do two things, if any of you would care to join me. Firstly, three things, in fact. Firstly, I would like to try and find a cooking shop, any sort of provisioner. I have some also coin burning in my pocket. I wouldn't mind passing by anywhere that looks like it could sell sort of magical trinkets. And then finally, I wish to return to the Dogsmead and settle up any outstanding balance we may have there.
Are you certain we can't make it a 4? I really can think of something more.
Settling up at the Dogsmead should only take a moment.
Well, when he speaks about magical trinkets, I suddenly I'm very interested, and I'm like, yeah, I'll go with you. Good. I like cooking too.
Smooth.
Suppose my tea provisions are getting a bit low. And remembering the north as I do, it's not going to be much chance for those. Consider me interested in your expedition towards the market.
I don't believe I have any nefarious and individual goals for today, so I might as well join you. And I try a smile.
Well
Is it
then.
working? Is your smile working?
Oh,
It
he's
might not-
scaring
It might
me.
not.
Because if it's working, I'm going to look at you very proudly. You're not going to be able to tell, but you can feel it.
Probably doesn't. Let's go.
I'm nevertheless proud of you.
Aww.
Lead the way then, Sir Gris.
With the way, Grace, you know the city will follow.
Yeah, I will look to. Oh, shit. I don't have my notes from last time. Where are my notes? We didn't get. I don't have the barkeeper's name! How annoying.
Which barkeep?
This guy, the owl, the guy who had like a badger familiar last week, but for some reason he said an owl today.
Yeah, badger familiar last week.
He did. He said the elf, a slightly chubby elf with a badger. And then this week he's only talking about an owl, but I just went with it.
He had an owl back then as well.
I know.
And his
God,
name is
no.
Martinel.
Owl badger. It was an owl badger.
His name is what? Sorry.
Martinel.
Martinel. Already out and noting me. Nice. Martinel, do you serve food here?
And he kind of looks at the back room like, I can. We don't have anything prepared just yet. But
Excellent. Excellent. I clap my hands. Where do you buy your provisions from, please?
At Blando's, just down the road.
Marvellous.
He's a
Thank you
grocer.
very much.
That's it.
Indeed, yes. Thank you. So Gris is, with my charisma, probably oblivious to getting his hopes up and then just dashing them.
Very, very well. They'll be open now. No problem. They cater to a number of the businesses in this area, so good. And he's kind of like seems very awkward, like unsure, and he's kind of like, if you're finished, then and he's like kind of hovering around the tank, the glass decanter and the glasses and stuff. You'll be on your way. Jarlaxle's is. I don't know whether you guys have polished you off. It was only like a third of a glass, so it's whether you kind of like sipped it or whether you were a swig and done.
Swig and done.
Swig and done. Okay. And he kind of like starts picking up the glasses, and it was a pleasure to meet the four of you. Please feel free to come again anytime.
You know you can breathe now, Sonny.
Well, does Jarlaxle often come here?
No, I've never met the man before.
Oh,
Only-
then I don't think we'll come back then. Goodbye.
Right you are. And he kind of like picks like the four glasses up, like with like his fingers, like kind of a finger in each glass, and kind of puts it outside, and then just pours himself a drink. Just necks it down, and like takes a little sit down, head in his hand on the table where Jalaxel was sat.
Oh.
This is going to be called, like, this won't be the green garnet. It'll come back at the end of the adventure, it'll be the jade Judaxis. This is the chair where he sat. Very well. I will head out and look up and down the street, see if I can see the sign for, I didn't know if it was Blando's or Lando's. I hope it wasn't Blando's if I'm buying food.
It was Blando's.
Great.
That's amazing.
Can't imagine where I got the name from, but if you look at the bottom right of the map, Blando's.
So where did you move here from? Oh, a place called Blood Island.
Mr. VTT Foundry.
Yeah. Why are you pulling that dead dog along? Dragon Beach.
Ah, dear. Right then.
Yes.
How much of this do you wish to do in character? Do you wish for some shopping to get some stuff done, or do you want to...
I am not interested in... well, obviously, I don't feel any requirement to RP out buying food. I'm not looking for rations. I'm just looking for anything which I know you might want to just sort retroactively. Anything that may have been on the recipe for the acorn bread that I don't have in addition to the Evermore's flour.
Oh, okay.
But I know,
fine.
I don't think you fleshed that out yet, so I'm fine just knocking some coin off later.
What do you mean I've not fleshed that out? How dare you?
But didn't you say last week you were going to come up with a recipe for, or what it needed or something for the recipe item?
Yeah. I've just not written it in, that's all.
Get out, Nigella.
If you would like the recipe, shall I copy and paste it for you? Where do
I thought you
want
can get it off the BBC website and put it in.
Yeah, so I'm doing easy baked bread. So you need a sachet of
I'm
bread.
always baking my own bread these days. That's fine. I can just wing it. I can wing it.
So I would say that if you feel like you are generally equipped with a few different items for cooking, then the flour that you got was the key ingredient, and the extra thing that you don't. What
is this gonna be? Your cooking kit means you've always got the stuff you need for a recipe, unless that ingredient has a gold value.
Pretty much. What do you need to
I need 2 diamond stocks. Okay, so it's my cook ponent's pouch.
Yeah, so it's a basic bread. There's nothing major about it. But the oil is you need. It says there's 2 tablespoons of. For this, it says sunflower oil, which probably isn't necessarily a given that you have. But everything else is fairly standard. So, it's yeast.
I do now. How much was a bottle of sunflower oil?
A bottle of sunflower oil. You want a big bottle of oil, do you?
Yeah, for the road.
For the road, massive tank of it.
No.
Like a small flask of sunflower oil. Sure. 2 silver pieces.
Okay.
Fish oil is cheaper if you'd like fish oil.
No, I want to go what the recipe says.
Super.
And I'm gonna get, if there's apples, I'm gonna get an apple each, and I'm gonna give them a gold piece if that covers it.
An apple each? Oh, I mean, absolutely, yeah. Apples are pretty cheap. I wonder how cheap they are up here. Yeah, they're going to be fairly cheap, so we're not like so far north that it's frigid. Yeah. Fridge.
Okay. So, I would also like to swing by any sort of magical item store, given that I have now 294 gold remaining.
Nice. Okay. Is anybody else buying anything food-wise? You're not looking for anything else. It was just literally the recipe for making the bread, yeah?
Tea.
You want tea?
Anything that looks like tea.
Okay. Yeah, there's a couple of little... there's some tea leaves in there, and there's obviously other ingredients. There's ginger, there's a variety of herbs and spices and stuff. So if you want like a little medley with some tea and some, a selection of spices and herbs and things like that, then they'll put you back about 3 silver pieces probably.
Completely reasonable. I'll take a lot of them.
There you go. So you are well equipped with your bits and your bobs. And these are all kind of like small selections. Oh, what do you want?
Sorry, I would like to buy some ink and some beer, some ale, ink and ale.
ink and beer. You want some ink and beer? Okay.
Yes, please.
Making Guinness.
A bottle of ink is 10 gold pieces, I believe. Ink.
The hell?
Let me double check. 5e ink. I'm just
That's
looking at the price.
expensive.
What the price? The price on here: 1 ounce bottle of ink. Yeah. So D&D ink is 10 gold pieces. I only know that from having my man there at how expensive. So yeah, ink's a valuable thing. It's not something that's cheap and easy to make.
Yeah, well, I'll just find a cuttlefish or something and make my own ink.
Sure, that
Too
makes sense.
expensive. I'll just buy beer then.
Okay, so you want just some bit while you're looking just for a flask or a cask, or are you looking for a keg of beer? What are you wanting?
No, just just a small container, something like for 2 people to drink or 3 people.
Okay.
I'm not carry with me a lot of things.
Okay. I'll say bottles of beer then. You could get like a bottle of beer, and that would be so for a bottle of it because normally it wouldn't necessarily normally come in a cask. So finding a bottle of beer, I'll call it 1 silver piece per bottle.
Okay, I'm gonna buy 4.
Which is quite expensive. That's quite expensive for beer because it's in a glass bottle. Then that's kind of why it's so expensive.
4 bottles.
Cool. I will let you all deduct the money from your own stuff. Okie dokie. Anything else?
Not in the food store now.
Not in a food store. Okay, so you are looking for a magic shop.
Yes.
How far is the journey?
So the journey from here to Huddlestone is 100 miles. I'll show you a little thing here. I'll say while you're looking around for provisions and stuff, at some point you come across a map of Icewind Dale. So this is what you would be looking at. So we're Luskan, and that's the generally. I'll say that you would know that this is what you know in your head roughly. You might not know beyond Spine of the World, but that's generally the layout. Fireshear is not a well-known place. Not necessarily so. Everybody thinks that Luskan is kind of like the end of civilization, really. Anything beyond there,
It's Mole's Town.
it's pretty much it's just not that important. So if you want to know anything, if you want to see if you know anything, then feel free to ask me. So.
Since you mentioned it, how much do I remember?
You remember everything that you remember. So I think we established where you'd come. Where did we say that you'd come from? Was it Bremen that you'd come from?
Yes, from Bremen.
From Bremen. Okay, so I think it was that you'd have only visited. I'm trying to think what the layout is. Bear with me. There's Bremen. Can't remember whether you go past Taurus or not. Bear with me. Icewind Dale. Oh, do you know? I'm here like about to Google a map. I literally have a massive Icewind Dale map pinned on my board behind me. So Bremen. Okay, so you probably visited Targos more than Bryn Shander. It goes Bremen, then Targos along the long roads, and then Targos to Bryn Shander, and then Bryn Shander is the long road all the way down the Ten Trail. So you've probably never visited any of the other places. You might not have actually ever visited Bryn Shander, because Targos is a pretty big city. And so if you were ever travelling beyond Bremen, Targos was probably as far as you'd have necessarily had to go when you were younger. So if there's anything in particular that you feel like you want to know, then let me know and then we can do rolls on it.
Yeah, I would like to know if we're aware of any dangers or particularly notable beasts or threats that might lay on the roads between here and Hundlewood.
Here and Hundlestone?
Hundlestone. I was thinking of Humblewood.
along the northern means. Roll me a history check. I'll give it with advantage, and we'll say that you're kind of like, while you're getting your provisions together and stuff, you're asking people for information as well. You know, what might we expect? That kind of thing.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Okay. From your knowledge yourself, probably not that much. You might have heard a thing or two. It's not necessarily an area that is plagued by anything in particular. Bandits every so often, because it is the one trade route that goes from Luskan to Hundlestone. But the thing is that the trade that's generally coming back and forth, it's provisions for the outlier settlements, and coming back, it's ore usually, or more refined ingots and stuff like that. So Ironmaster and Fireshear, Ironmaster more particularly, that's a dwarven settlement, and it's all about mining there. So stuff kind of like gets travelled, usually smelted down to Hundlestone, and then travels back down the northern means. There's obviously small elements of trade that head to Bryn Shander for 10 towns and a little bit less. So it's, whilst it is the only trade route, it is not like loads of valuable content going back and forth. That said, it doesn't stop bandits from trying their luck. And I will say that with 20, there has been rumours that 20 will give you... There has been more attacks than normal coming from the mountains. Something's going on, and this might relate to what's happening in the Dale, that the quite as much. Even Fireshear would, because you guys are in spring now, they would have expected to see a little bit more thawing on the ice for the stone docks to be released and stuff. But it seems to still be considerably colder than it normally would be. And there has been... The person that kind of tells you this, and kind of like while you're chatting, they say like that they heard that somebody went missing. Somebody's gone missing from that way. They're not sure the details of it, but it seems like it was important enough that it's kind of like come back to him like on a bit of a rumour. He's overheard something, but he can't remember the details. So there has been something that's happened that way.
Marvellous.
So,
would I be aware of any points of interest between Luskan and the city we're going to that I might want to take a peek at or visit or maybe raid?
Raid, okay.
Escalate.
Raid.
Get your raid.
Yeah, going wrong. No, just kidding. You know, like something interesting, like maybe old wizard tower, tomb, something. People told me, hey, that you need to go there because it might be magical. It's magical wood, you know, something like that.
You would not know it. If you want to ask around, whilst we're in the process of all this, then
I would like to.
okay. Then I would say that what's the most appropriate skill? For this, I would imagine investigation, probably. Yeah, rolling an investigation check. We'll say that you're doing this. You're like asking around town. So 13. Insofar as important locales, there's very, very little on the way. As you're kind of like asking about, points of interest between Luskan and Hundlestone. Hundlestone is not. It's not a city. It is like it's not even a township. It's very, very small. It's just kind of like a stopping point for anybody going on the way to Bryn Shander. They tell you that halfway along the northern means, when you reach the River Selfie that travels down from the mountains of the spine of the world down into the seas of the South Coast. At that crossing point, there is an inn. So it's not exactly you could go and raid it if you wanted to, but that's about as much as there is between Luskan and Hundlestone. It is very, very unimpressive. Nobody settles up here. There's nothing that's really happened. Anything that is of importance, whoever you're speaking to doesn't know.
Thank you.
No. Anytime. So you are now looking for a magic shop. Yes.
Yeah, if we can find one.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, Luskan's a pretty well-established city. There is a general. There's two shops. There's one that is kind of like does knickknacks and kind of like general more trade wares and stuff, consumables, I guess would be a way of putting it. So they have all manner of oils and potions and scrolls and stuff.
Is it called Odnalbs?
Oddmals. I don't know what that is backwards. I don't know
Osnalbs. Blando's backwards.
Blando's backwards. Excellent. It is Habib's. There you go. It's Habib's Wondrous Delights.
Get ready, folks. Both of our first racist character
What
voice.
kind of magic do they sell? Because it sounds like the booby kind of magic.
It sounds like what?
It sounds like a certain kind of magic, sure, but probably not the kind of magic that Cerberus is probably looking for.
Habib's Wondrous Delights. And Delights is spelt wrong on the sign when you find it. So this is like the consumables shop. Other than that, you are told that whilst there's not a shop, that Adrian's Arms, they sell different weapons and stuff. Normally, kind of like your general mundane fare. They don't make it. They're not crafters. They kind of like take it from other traders and stuff. Sometimes trading anything that's made from Hundlestone or from Ironmaster that makes its way back here. So Adrian's Arms. They sometimes get magic weapons when people are looking to buy and sell them. Then stuff can go there. But it is hit and miss as to whether they're there.
I'm just looking to see if there is any sort of magical consumables that would help in a cold weather sort of environment.
Ooh, okay, very specific. Okay, 1 second. Let's have a look at what I've got on the list. Roll me a D20. I'm going to say if you get over DC 15,
well,
then
you might have to save your breath.
Yeah, okay. So then, no, it doesn't seem to be anything that's particularly going to benefit with cold. There is, so kind of looking through a variety of things that you can't necessarily identify, but stuff that seems to fall generally within your price range. There is, with me, oil of etherealness, and I'm not sure how many of these items you are aware of, actually.
I know
So
about
let
that.
me, okay, there's oil of ethereal. I'd say that everybody else might not do, so I should probably read some of that in case anybody else wants them. So oil of etherealness. It is. Bear with me. Oh, a lot more expensive than I thought. I think I didn't realise how expensive it was. Yeah, that's 1,920 gold. You probably don't want that.
I'll buy one sip.
Yeah, hold on. So like, so there is a potion of poison.
Would there be any potions of climbing, perchance?
Poisonous climbing. If you're after something specific, then I will let you DC 15.
Oh, okay. I mean, I don't know if they would fall under the survive in the cold, harsh.
No,
winterland.
yeah. I'm just saying in general. If you're after something specific, then it's.
There's no one in the shop to
I'll
help
have
you.
to
There's
go
like a really old, battered one of those Argos self-service devices to look it up.
Well, no, it's like I'm either giving you an inventory of what the magic items are.
Yeah, I
If
know,
you're asking for
that's
stuff in particular, then it might appear. No, that does not appear to be. Closest you've got is in potions. There's a potion of poison, which
Close enough.
this concoction Luke smells and tastes like a potion of healing or other beneficial potion. However, it's actually poison masked by illusion magic. So it looks like it's a healing potion, but it is actually a poison potion.
So is it
Sorry.
There is potions. There's a potion of water breathing. Then there is a ring of water walking.
That one would be very useful for Turielos, right? The potion.
Both of those.
Which one? Which one you after?
No. Go on.
Ring of Water Walking, that's 1,500 gold. And then there are 2 spell scrolls, one for Shillelagh and one for Stone Skin. And then there's also an Unbreakable Arrow, but I don't think that's of any use to any of you. So that is what is currently available in this random shop that we just rolled up.
Do they sell any kind of ranged weapon, like a crossbow or a bow?
No, this is like purely consumer weapons. If you want to go, if you're going to Adrian's Arms. So we're at the moment we're at Happy.
Okay, we'll go there. We'll go there later then. No worries.
Cool.
I would, if they have any, spend a few gold on, if they have any books whatsoever, just something to read for the drive. Doesn't matter if it's not a like spell scroll or spell book. Just if there's any sort of tomes they've got in.
Sure. Yeah. There's a little section in the corner which has various kind of like volumes and kind of like small, I guess, paperback types. Little thin things. So a bit of Reader's Digest type thing.
Yeah,
So it depends
four
deep you want.
non-fiction books. And I'm just going to grab the first 4. I'm not going through. Don't want to roll. Just going, 4 books. Make sure a cursory glance to make sure I'm not picking up 4 of the same book. And that's some stuff. That's some stuff I'll read on the wagon.
Okay, cool. I'm going to call them. I'd say. Pardon?
Porn.
I'm going to say they are normally 1 gold a piece for a book because it's not like printing presses are necessarily a big thing.
I'll buy 4.
Cool. There you go then. 4 gold pieces for the books. And I'll detail what they are at some other point for you. Anybody else? Or do you want to head over to see what might be, if there's anything, any magic items, magic weapons? At Adrian's, roll me a DC 15. Let's see if there's anything there, whether he's got anything in stock. I'll let anybody roll it.
A DC 15 of what?
Just roll a D20. Just roll a D20 and just roll 15. And then if there is, then there's going to be magic items here. Nope, nothing's come in lately. And he says, he tells you that he's even had very little coming in from the north in terms of crafted weapons. His stock's running a little bit.
And even mundane weapons?
Yeah, he's got mundane weapons. Yeah, so he's pretty much got all selection of mundane weapons that you might want. So what is it you're after? A crossbow?
Hand crossbow?
Hand crossbow. Yep, hand crossbow he has. That is 75 gold pieces for a hand crossbow.
Oh man, that's expensive. I'm poor. Can someone lend me 15 gold? Thank you, boys. Oh no, it was 18.
I didn't hear what Eileen said. Did you say yes?
I said that I'll lend you.
Okay.
Would I have an awareness of how much gold you have, Eileen? Would you have been the sort of person to grumble about how much coin you do or don't have on you?
I don't really grumble, but as you look at me, I think you're going to guess that just looking at her, she's broke.
And she's giving her money away.
I will let her do so, but then I will attempt to put 15 gold in her hand or in her pocket as she turns away.
You're going to try and slip it? Okay, sleight of hand it then.
Yeah, I'll try and slip it in.
Go on then. Give me a sleight of hand against her passive perception. What's your passive perception?
Let me just see.
It'll be your wisdom. Yep, 15. Wow.
13.
13. I was going to say, well, that's DC 13. So as you are kind of like slowly putting in, like, because it's 15 gold pieces, and so it's not.
Clink,
You know, it's like
clink.
click, 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 click. You like, and it's not all gold either. It's like some of it's a couple of silvers, and you kind of like turn around and she looks at you, but she just looks at you with her beaky face. You don't know whether she's smiling or not.
I'm maintaining eye contact. Can't tell if I'm blinking or not.
She just looks at waiting for you to put more in.
And I haven't done it. I don't look at her. I just give a bit of a just nod to no one in particular and step away again. I'll mark a further 15 gold off mine.
Cool. Okay, so hand crossbow. Let me give that to. There you go. I have given you a hand crossbow.
Merci beaucoup.
Is that just so that your character actually looks right now? Your character sheet? Because your profile's got a crossbow on it. Oh no, it's not. It's a spyglass.
Yeah, it's a spyglass. I just wanted some ranged options, just in case.
Nice. Okay.
And now I realize that I need arrows. I hope they're not.
I was just going to say, do you want some arrows for that?
Yes, please. How much is 20 arrows?
Well,
It's bolt, I guess, for.
it is so you need. So it is 1 gold for a crossbow bolt case, because you do need to hold them in a case. It would be the equivalent of a quiver. And then crossbow bolts are they are 2 coppers per bolt. Wow, that's really cheap for a crossbow bolt. I would expect them to be more. So 1 gold piece, and then it can hold 20 crossbow bolts. So that would be 4 gold to fill it. No, it wouldn't. It would be 4 silver to fill it. So you would need 1 gold and 4 silver to fully equip your crossbow. Do you have one?
Yes. Thank you. I had a question. Didn't we get 200 gold last game or something? Or
Did you? Yeah, well, Sribbits paid you all money up front. I think it was it? I can't remember which it was each.
I remember
Was it-
it was something like 50.
Was that?
Yeah, I think it was 200 gold between you all, so it's 50 gold pieces each. Did you not add that to your inventory?
No, I think I did. I was just wondering why Greece had so much money just then. Because I started with like 15 gold. Maybe I messed up something, or I don't know.
How much money did you start with, Chris?
300, because I didn't buy anything.
And that's why. Did you buy stuff when you started, Aggie?
I have no idea. What do you mean by buy stuff? I took
Other than the magic items agreed, I've not bought into. You have obviously your class and your background starting items, don't you? But we're starting at level 3.
Yeah.
The normal thing is 100 gold per level, isn't it? But then people then go, great, I'm looking look at these tables, I'm going to buy this, and I didn't do any of that, so I just had the.
Oh no, I didn't buy anything either. I didn't buy anything then. I just have my starting equipment.
Same.
Same here.
Okay. I think what's happened here is that Gris has taken upon himself to say that we all start with 100 gold pieces per level and give himself 300 gold pieces, and nobody else has done that.
I can search our DMs. I definitely confirmed it with you before I did it. Just rolling up with my pimp cane.
So you should all have 300 gold pieces to start with.
Let me just check something.
Okay.
Well,
Okay,
that
Eileen
means
doesn't notice me
money
taking the gold back.
Yoink.
that guy.
I
So-
don't notice you taking the gold back.
Okay, so
But
Okay.
I am curious after this. Does this city have a bookshop? A dedicated bookshop?
yeah.
I can sell you
imagine
some
we'll
books,
get
2 gold each.
There. But I do want to go there.
Okay. No problem. Let's just finish. So, Aggie, you just want one crossbow bolt, one bolt case, and then
And 20.
20. Okay, cool. I will drop that on.
And then 100.
You just make sure it's gone on yet. Bolt case, and then crossbow bolts. Crossbow bolts. You have 20.
If this
Okay.
is still considered part of extended session 0, do you want us to sort out anything we're going to buy with start on gold, like between session, instead of it suddenly turning into a big old shopper?
Yeah. In future, we'll. I mean, in future, we'll be mindful of it, I guess. I think what would be better is if you guys always have a general shopping list of stuff that you want to buy, then, where there's kind of like spots in between, I can just kind of like give you the stuff as and when needed. Because right now I'm having to find stuff and search for stuff, so that's just taking a while as well.
I think we also weren't exactly prepared for a shopping session right now, so a lot of us don't really know what we want.
You all want something.
I do have.
I mean, if you want, we can do this after the game, and we can just start. And after the game ends, we can go back to shopping, like a little flashback.
But the thing is, you might want all this stuff like halfway through the session, so then it just becomes awkward. So at the end of the day, this is getting you equipped for your first foray out into the world and adventuring, I guess. We probably should have thought about this kind of... I mean, realistically, we should have made it more apparent that everybody starts with 300 gold and everybody bought all this stuff before the campaign started. So that was kind of... That was on us, slightly. Yeah, I hadn't even thought about it. But okay, let's just burn through it. So we're not going to do any of this and that, right? Aggie, Letitia, what do you want now? You've got your crossbow, you've got your bolt.
That's all I wanted. Perfect.
Okay. Trios, what do you want?
Well, I'm mostly focused on this climbing stuff since there are mountains all around, from what I understand.
Okay.
So I'm thinking climber's kit, block and tackle, and grappling hook would be nice. These are things that would be really found.
Sure. So climber's kit is
25
25. Yep.
It comes to 28 basically.
Okay, then that is fine. So I will drag and drop them onto you.
Block and tackle.
Block and tackle.
Wait, yeah, isn't about fishing, not climbing?
No, it's for lifting stuff up a block and tackle.
Oh yeah, it's for pulley stuff, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. You've all got backpacks, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to worry about it too much right now, but I am very, very much going to be monitoring capacity on containers, your carrying weight, because there's quite a heavy element of survival with Icewind Dale. So I will touch upon this post-session, what my idea is. But yeah, so like just be mindful that when you're walking around with all this big and heavy stuff, that your character is walking around with all this big and heavy stuff. So climber's kit, you now have. You want block and tackle.
Why did you give me a 25-pound chest? Is that something I should have? A chest?
I'm presuming that was part of your starting. What was your starter class or your background? Was it like a nobles or something, or explorers?
The background. I think it was criminal spy or something like that.
Oh, so that's what the chest is. Yeah. So if you don't want the chest, then get rid of it or sell it or whatever.
Yeah, no. Leticia doesn't have a big chest. So
Okay.
Also,
Then-
a question: didn't we at the end of last session? Didn't we also take the chest that we found?
yes, I have that the lead line chest that you repaired. I have it on my inventory. Yes.
Okay, good. I forgot who had it. I know one of us got it, but I knew it was me.
And
I mean, if you want, I can give it to you, but
Oh no, you're good for it.
okay, and you got your grappling hook as well. Any other gear?
No.
You wanted to find some books. Is there anything in particular that you are after book-wise, Eileen?
Well, I have this list. On the top of it, apologies. On the top of it would be northern fauna,
Okay.
like creatures.
Yeah.
And zoology.
Okay. Northern fauna, right. If you are after specific stuff, northern fauna. Yeah, okay. I'll call it a DC 10. Just roll me. Do you know what? We'll do an investigation check for this one because you kind of like looking through the books and I'm less bothered about stuff like this than I am magic items and stuff. DC 10. Nice.
20.
Okay, I'm going to call northern fauna. Bear with me for 1 second. What happened to a token? Why?
It moved sideways.
Oh.
I'll be honest, I don't know how.
Okay, so I'm going to call it for this book because it's quite a specific book. I'm going to call it 2 gold pieces for the book, and it's a nice kind of like encyclopedic book, nicely leather bound, got lots of diagrams and stuff for where you can find things and potential for harvesting creatures and things like that.
Ooh, beautiful. Yes, I'll take it. 2 gold pieces, you said?
2 gold pieces.
2 gold pieces it is. And I will have 2 more on my list. One would be northern myths, like mythology.
Okay.
Always, what's the D&D equivalent?
Yeah. Well, I suppose legends would be more appropriate, I guess. But
Yeah, that works too.
okay. I mean, so it depends what you're looking for. Are you looking for historical stuff, or are you looking for stories?
No, more like stories.
Okay, cool. Then yeah, roll me a DC 10 for that as well.
Still investigation?
Yes, you're in a bookshop, so you're kind of looking around, and the person's kind of like looking for stuff with you. He's not got a Dewey Decimal System, so yep, you can find one of them. We'll call that 1 gold piece for that. Smaller little volume. It's got some children's illustrations in there. You kind of let a little bit flick through it. On the book, there's a picture of some chewingers. You're probably familiar with what chewingers are, being from the north. They're like the little fairy folk that kind of get up to no good and it's kind of lucky to have a chwinger in your house, but if you anger them, it's very unlucky to have chwingers in your house. So that's on the front cover, and you kind of a little flick through, and there's a few little stories and tales in there.
Oh, adorable. I love this. That's a go well spent. And the last thing I want to find would be a cookbook.
A cookbook, okay.
You have one walking with us.
I know.
Anything in particular? Any type of cooking?
Well,
Is it all northern cuisine?
Well, yeah, northern cuisine.
Okay, roll me a DC 10.
That's just cold food, isn't it?
Okay, you find a book. It is 101 Ways to Cook Knucklehead Trout.
Ah, exactly what
And-
I used to have when I was a little girl.
As well, people in the north pretty much live and die on knucklehead trout, but this is so many ways of trying to find it. Trying to do it. What are you looking? Trying to steal the book. So that one, I will call that one. It's quite a way to. It's an instructional So I'll call that 15 silver, so 1.5 gold.
Okie dokie. Consider it done.
There we go. You are well supplied, I feel.
Yes,
Hopefully.
I am in full.
I don't suppose we would find anything on the Netherese anywhere but in the Tower of the Arcane.
That is probably a good presumption. You can 100% try and look for stuff, though. Are you looking for something? Are you looking for a book in this bookshop?
I might as well, since I'm there.
Okay.
I
will
anything
call
personal
it-
I would like.
Sure, give me an investigation check. I will call it a DC 15. It's going to be a little bit more tricky.
A flat roll, then? No.
There is nothing there on the bookshop owner is kind of like thinking, and they know that they've probably had something at some point, but with the Arcane Brotherhood being localized to Luskan, he kind of informs you that he's pretty sure that they've bought up everything to do with Netheril.
Of course.
And you know what? I will give you with your kind of like asking. And he says, "Yeah." He kind of like thinks about it. He's like, I'm pretty sure that it was about 8 months ago, and a fellow came in, and we did have a few books about Netheril, and he bought them all. Interesting fellow. Can't remember his face or anything, but yes, it was. That was all he was asking about. And there you go.
What he was asking about.
Floki, Ernie.
And you didn't catch his name? Or you didn't catch his name, or you don't remember it simply?
No, I didn't. I didn't catch his name. It might have been Bert.
Yeah, Hebert.
Hebert. No, I don't typically ask people their names, but he was very adamant. He wasn't interested in anything else other than anything about the Empire of Netheril, any history books, any stories, any information we had. I didn't have a wide collection, but things that I had managed to gather over the years that naturally gravitated into my shop. But he took them all.
Thank you.
Okay. We all feeling well equipped. We all feeling good. All feeling happy about ourselves. I'm almost concerned about giving you this money up front now, half now and half later, because like, oh, let's go back shopping again. Okay. So, you at some point, I like to feel, did not overlook the visit to going to Klaskers to get measured up for some warm clothing. I think we forgot something. Can't put my.
Something.
Yeah, well, you kind of went to Klaskers, kind of got measured up. They said they would, have everything sorted out for you. It's already been mentioned. It's going to be paid for. No problem. And so when you gather at the northern gate, there is there's a dwarven woman sat at a wagon being pulled by two large, not draft horses. They look like they could be as big as draft horses, but they still look this kind of the shape and kind of style as a normal riding horse. But they breed their horses bigger up north. And she's got these two beautiful bays, just kind of like strapped up to this wagon that's got a big tarp thrown over the top of it. And as you approach, she's kind of like smoking on a pipe and kind of like docks it out and jumps off the front of this wagon and kind of like comes up to your chest, Gris, and kind of like holds a hand out and says, "Hi there, Jana. I'll be your caravaneer up to Understone, I believe."
Indeed, a pleasure to make your acquaintance. He said, sorry, what you said she was a dwarf?
Yes.
He said, yeah. And it was Jana.
Jenna.
Yes.
Okay. You've made this journey before, yes?
A dozen times more. And that's just this week.
Huh. What can we
No,
expect?
it's a much too far a journey for me to do that. But I'm well travelled on the road.
Of course, of course.
She's a big cough and like bangs at her chest.
Whoa, we're getting 6 feet away. Are there any in your vast experience, anything we should know beforehand? Any requirements you'll have of us?
No requirements. Nothing like that. Will take us 2 days before we reach the inn. That's the stop at the river, at the selfie. But we'll have a day on the road where we have to sleep in the wagon. So I hope that you're all fine, getting comfortable with each other.
Mm-mm.
She kind of gives you a big smile. She looks worn and weathered. She's got.
I'm going to go close to Aileen and just whisper. Maybe you should, check her out before we take the road with her. She might die halfway through.
I was about to ask if that cough was in character.
The calf is 100% in character. It's not me.
Are you
She's
well?
she's kind of. I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
You seem to be coughing quite a lot. Has the journey taken a toll on you?
Oh, no, not the journey. Probably, probably the pipe. bit of a harsh plant that I've got on it this time.
Ah.
A nasty one you have, even with your pipe.
Unless what?
A rather nasty one, even with your pipe.
Well, yeah. Can't stop, hey? I get very few pleasures in life. My pipe is one of them.
That I can't stop you from doing.
No, you can't. And she kind of claps her hands together, and she's got these heavy woolen gloves, kind of like woolen on top and underneath. You can see that the leather lined on the bottom. It's like, so I believe that you're heading to Hundlestone, which is fine. We've not got anybody that's going to be with the van. Normally, when I'm traveling, then I have somebody traveling with me just in case there's anything on the road. But I've been informed that you are more than capable if there should be anything like that. I was not misinformed, yes?
Indeed, that shouldn't be any sort of issue.
Not to impress you or anything, but no later than last day, we kind of beat up some kind of kid pirates, on our own side.
She's kind of eyes wide and she's kind of like looking up and like, is that? Beat up children, that is. I mean, most places, not that impressive. Luskan, bit of a different thing. Even the children around here, pretty wild. So, good for you, miss. Hey. And she kind of like beckons you, like, come, wagon. We've had some things loaded up for you. And she kind of goes over, and there's like a little like half gate at the back of it. She kind of unbuckles it and kind of drops it down. And you can see there's like a big pile of like a big bundle of string wrapped packages. She like puts around. It's like, I believe that those are some winter clothes. Apparently, you're heading further north of Huddlestone. You're going to be heading into the Dale. That's right. Okay, thanks for confirming. Okay, so those are your winter clothes I believe, not opened them myself, don't know whose is whose. You can have the fun and excitement of unwrapping those later. Probably don't need them until we get to Huddlestone, though it is been getting quite cold on the road. So I'll let you make your own decisions. I'm not your mother. What else have we got? And she's looking through. She's like, okay, we've got here. We have a little chest, and she opens up this wooden kind of like a locker box. It's like there is 2 weeks worth of rations in here. This should get you to Bryn Shander and back, no problem. And that should feed the 4 of you. I've not counted through them exactly, but I was told to make sure that there is enough that you fine folks could get where you needed to get to. We have, and she pulls up 2 glistening red bottles. Healing potions, always good to have. Could do with one of these myself every so often when when this cough really kicks in the cold. 2 potions of healing. I can put them back in here, and you can sort them out amongst yourselves later on. And then, and then she picks up a big 2 poison potions. And then she picks up a heavy bag of coins, and then drops it onto the bed of the wagon, and just kind of like elbow on it, and kind of like turns around, and like she's a dwarf, so like the elbow on it is like almost up at her head height. She's kind of like on a little step to actually look into this wagon. It's like,
Gosh,
so I believe she's so strong. I believe this is payment up front from what I've been told, and I've not counted it. I don't know what you agreed to, but as far as I'm aware, it is all there. I've not looked in it, and I think given that we know who has made this arrangement, at least who I believe has made this arrangement, I have had absolutely no inclination to open it and look in it and count it myself. So that, whatever is in there, is the agreed amount as far as I'm aware. Is that okay with everybody?
Can I insight check her, because she seems very insistent for someone that didn't absolutely never looked inside what we had.
Sure, you can 100% insight her.
Sounds fair to me.
Meanwhile, just as she's moving and explaining all of this to me, can I wager, I guess, if there's anything else wrong with her, apart from the obvious, well...
Okay. Looking at her, the look on her face is kind of, it was all friendly, it was all genuine, and the moment she started speaking about your collective patron, it was very serious, like, I am not even considering ripping you off and looking in this bag of money. That is fine. Yes, she suffers dwarfism. She's actually a human. You want to?
How does that work? No, you.
Let's not. Let's
not.
That'll be complicated very fast.
So you want to look around? You want to? I mean, if you want to just do like a physical medicine check, like just a little bit of a glance over, yeah, you can do.
Okay, thank you.
Call it a DC 14. Okay.
So far away.
So you can you kind of like giving her the look over and stuff, but she's kind of she's heavily dressed in kind of like leathers and some light furs, because she's you guys will be in the back under the cover. She's going to be kind of out there at the front of the car exposed, so it's a little bit of a little bit colder for her on the road. So she's heavily bundled up. So all you really can see is her head, and she's got her hair is kind of this dirty brown hair just tied back into this messy ponytail. But she seems fine. Like she looks a bit aged. She's probably kind of early 40s. Maybe she's younger and she just looks older. But you kind of place her being early 40s. But she seems fine. She's walking around, seems fairly able-bodied, not struggling moving stuff around. But she just has a wicked ass cough.
It's called a fart.
Oh dear. So nothing I would consider concerning.
Not with a 9, you wouldn't know. I mean, this is so we're in the north. It's winter. It's pretty cold. So everybody's probably got coughs and sniffles anyway. From time to time, most people are generally pretty hardened to it. So the people that do have a cold, probably not local folk, But yeah, she seems fine. She seems, healthy in her face. She's just got a cough.
All right, that's good enough for me.
Okay.
Also, while we're at that, DM, have you read my message?
Which message is that one?
The Foundry one.
Do you like me? Yes/no.
Well, when Sir Gris is distracted, I want to slip the book in his backpack with the message, try your charm on these if you ever get bored, written on the first page. Aww. There you go. Did you roll on it?
What?
You've not rolled on it.
No, you didn't test.
Okay. Did you whisper that to me?
Yes, I did.
Oh, I did. I don't know what whispers look like because I've never had one before. Sorry.
I sent you a
Okay.
secret, and now I shall announce it.
You should have been like, whoa, DM, whoa. Right, sorry, I didn't. I thought I'd clicked it and it highlighted the message. Sorry. Well, now I just.
Adorable.
It's lucky for me that I didn't send you that I'm planning to betray the whole party in two sessions. Otherwise, you would have felt the beans.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. Roll me a sleight of hand. Call it a DC. I'm gonna go. We'll do it against his perception. Against your passive perception. So what's your passive perception, Grease?
I'd rather not share that. Just
No.
no.
Okay, we don't need to keep
terrible.
this secret.
No. I was making a joke because it's shit. It's just 10. But yeah, I see her somehow.
So when Sir Gris is distracted, Eileen attempts to slip the book into his backpack, but he doesn't know what the message is yet. He's just kind of like put it in. It's up to you whether you react to it or whether you just kind of like let it happen. I mean, I suppose you were there when she bought the book, so you might know that she's kind of like tried to sneak it back.
Yeah, I don't look at her as she does it. I let her think she's got away with it, and as she sort of withdraws to leave, without even turning to her, I'm like, "Thank you, Eileen."
And she blushes under her mask. Okay, there we go. Everybody learning how to use Foundry. It's great. Okay, so Jenna kind of shows her stuff, leaves the bag of gold coins there. It's up to you guys. I mean, you're going to be getting in the back of the wagon, so you can kind of count it out, look through stuff on the route, and yeah. So she looks at herself. So you tell me when you're ready to go. I'd recommend sooner rather than later. If we want to try and get to the selfie stop before it gets dark. All right then. And then she just kind of like claps her hands and just walks to the front of the wagon. It's like a little double step, almost like one that you have for like a carriage. And she kind of like climbs her way up and kind of gets settled in. And from where she is, like from inside the wagon, it is just kind of like one of those old Western kind of canopies over the top, so you can see her driving at the front when you are inside at the back. And there doesn't seem to be any seats here, but there's kind of like padded furs on the floor around the side, so you'll kind of like be sprawled a little bit. And it is snug for the four of you, as well as the bits of cargo and stuff that you've got. There do seem to be some other chests and sacks and things like that that don't seem to be anything to do with you, nothing that she's mentioned, and just her own supplies or trade.
Okay. I will find a spot, settle on down, sitting on my backpack. I'm gonna try and maneuver it so my big secret reveal. I have laid the books out inside the backpack, so I have a bit of a flat seat to sit on.
Look at this guy.
This guy travels.
What he didn't realise is that one of those books, because he's not read them, is how to build a chair in 3 easy steps with no supplies.
In 3 easy books.
In 3 easy books. Okay then. So, as you're all kind of like climbing up and getting comfortable and very comfortably acquainted with each other, nestling down, you have the chest with the rations, the 2 healing potions, the bag of coins, and your weather clothes. And Jenna from the front says, now there may be times when I shout for you to hold on, that the road can get a little bit bit bumpy, a little bit further up that way. But nothing that none of you can handle, I'm sure. So we're gonna go. We'll be stopping halfway. I completely forgot. We're gonna be stopping halfway. When it gets a little bit too dark, to travel, and we'll camp out for the night. Then we'll journey the rest of the way to reach the inn, and that's where we'll have a bit of a comfy bed. As far as I'm aware, everything is already paid up front for this journey. So that gold that you've got there, that might not be gold. I don't know. Sounded heavy. But that's all yours, as far as I'm aware. Are we ready to go?
I'm
Okay,
deliberately pausing so it's not always
Yeah.
me jumping in, and that's what no one's me.
That's great.
I like to
And
think
she
she's
claps
just super impatient, and she's just like, these pauses are actually half a second before she's like, yeah.
No, pregnant pauses.
I'd like to see if it's possible to sit beside her and if she would have anything against it. Or do we have to
Sure,
all
yeah.
travel behind in the...
There is 2 seats up front. If you wish to travel up front with her, you are more than welcome.
I'd kindly ask her about it. She would-
And she kind of looks at you and she says, that would be fantastic. It's always good to have a little bit of company up front. When we get a bit further up, it gets a bit windy. Can't always hear people chatting in the back. So having somebody up here to talk to, at least for part of the journey, would be most appreciated. Thank you very much. What's your name?
My name
If you wish to ask, you don't have to tell me. I know that some people want to move, and that's fine as well.
There's absolutely no issue. You can call me Turielos. My full name involves Nila Suktukath as well.
Turios Nila Suktakath. Oh yes, a very common name. And she kind of looks at you, and then she breaks into this big grin, and it's like, "Come on up here, Turi."
And I do.
Okay, and are you still bare chested?
I think so, yes. And I wanted to ask you, I didn't find a good moment for it. How would you interpret the cold resistance of Tritons? How much does it help me in regards to things like requiring proper clothing for such a journey?
I literally don't think you would. The sea is freezing. It's going to be more cold deep under the sea than it is out here. So until you get to extreme colds, because I don't think cold resistant is extreme colds. So if you're in the middle of a blizzard, then you're probably going to feel it. But the cold wind on you, even a bit of snow, kind of, yeah, whatever. I'm cool.
Good.
Cool.
Yeah, then I'll flaunt it.
And she kind of gives you a look up and down and says, Amazing. Can't believe you're not cold. And as the last person gets in, she hears the gate buckled up and locked off at the back. She and kind of puts reins to the horses, and it all starts going forward, and the wagon starts rolling, and you are on your way to Hundlestone. And yeah, so she kind of like, if any of you guys want to have a little chat in the back, then feel free. And me and Shuriel might have a little chat up front in a moment. We'll take some turns.
You said there's a porthole, isn't there? We can't chat.
Oh yeah. It's not windy yet, so everybody can chat to each other at this moment. Yeah.
Excellent.
Well,
I will. Well, actually, let's go first.
Okay, so I don't know if you want to roleplay all small talk. I just wanted to state what I'd be talking with her about. If that's fine?
Talk it out. Talk it
Talk it out.
out.
Talk it out. Let's talk it out a little bit, and then we can abridge any bits that when we get bored.
Ugh, be right back.
So, Turios, she looks at you. She can see that you've got something pressing on your mind.
Oh yes, I do actually. Well, you said you travel a lot on this route, and we've heard some rumors about problems on the way. In town, would you perhaps know anything more about it?
Oh,
There were supposedly more attacks of some sort,
yes.
or movements from the mountains.
It's been a strange one, a tough one. It was always the bandits. There's the cleavers, they call themselves. They come down from the hills sometimes, but they've got some little hideaway somewhere in there. But not been too bad this last season. Since everybody started traveling again after the hardest of the winters, and once spring set in, that's when our routes would normally pick up again. But the snow's just not cleared the same. A little, but not a lot. And things from the mountains, beasts. I don't know what they are. You hear some you hear some rumors, and you find there's been one or two wagons that have been found where folk missing, horses dead. Sometimes the cargo left, so leads us to think that it isn't necessarily the bandits. Normally, bandits, they just take the cargo and leave the people. You kill the people, then there's no one to bring them more cargo. So definitely some creatures, which is different. They normally don't come this far down to the road, nothing like that. But people are saying big cats, bears, but I've never seen a bear, do the things that people are saying.
And you wouldn't meet any of those in the past, would you?
What the
Did
creature?
you encounter any troubles like that on your journeys?
So, touch wood, and she kind of like touches the wagon frame and says, "No, thankfully not. I've been, I've done okay. I dare say that if I had seen anything, that I wouldn't be able to tell you about it now, would I?"
Well, and on a completely unrelated note, you mentioned the pipe, I believe.
Aye, and she kind of pulls it out of her. It's quite an easy, casual thing. So she's just one hand in the reins and kind of like pulls a pipe out of this little leather stitched top pocket, holds it up.
And you did mention it brings you comfort and pleasure of sorts.
Yes. You want some?
I am very inclined to try if you would be willing to share.
Of course, no problem at all. One moment. She kind of pops it in her mouth and kind of grips it between her teeth and digs inside for a little bit of flint. And she kind of has this little technique where she's kind of like holding the flint and the steel in one hand and gives it like a little click and kind of like thumbing it over the. gives out this big cough and then holds it up to you.
From somewhere inside your hearing, is
Somebody dying out there!
No, not yet. Still plenty more years left. And she holds the pipe to Torios.
I'll take it and try to do something with it.
And she kind of watches. She's like, just need to stem it with your thumb. And she's kind of gesturing how you have to do it, and kind of like showing you, and I just take a good breathe in, and then with that constitution, I will say that you breathe it in, and it is an. I will let you decide whether you like it or not, but essentially, having been somebody that has breathed underwater, and I guess having your gills filled, and you know the difference between breathing water and breathing air, and you've been around industrial places, this is just suddenly a spike that burns the back of your throat. If you're, I mean, I don't know whether he's sensible enough to not just try and swallow it, or whether he's kind of like breathing in. I'll let you decide what he does.
Yeah, I think he'd be quite careful with it. So.
Okay. So kind of like she draws it into his mouth, and she's like, "That's good. That's good. Now just if you breathe it back a little bit, you don't have to. Some people just like to keep it in the mouth, but if you breathe it back, that's where you get the real spice."
Oh dear.
And you kind of like you get this little buzz, lightheadedness from the nicotine, and ooh, it's kind of like quite nice. But then it's kind of a little bit on your chest, and the hangover that you had a few hours ago, it's kind of like and you're just like, ooh, yeah, and you're just not sure that it agrees with you. The Constitution save is fine. You know, you're not vomiting everywhere, but you're like, I'm not sure if that's for me right now.
Intriguing. Is it like considering for whom you seem to work and the amount of coin that is supposedly there in that bag? Should I assume that this is top shelf?
And she kind of like scoffs it. No. Save that top stuff for the wankers. No, I like proper stuff.
Oh.
This is what I got brought up on. And she kind of like gets a little leather pouch out. It's got this kind of like crumble of just brown moss that it looks like. Inside she's like, oh, take a smell of that. And she kind of like holds the bag up to your nose. And it's got this like earthy, soily blend, and then you just got this familiar, maybe subtle to most people, but for you, it's just this tang of fish that kind of comes with it.
Very interesting. Does it have a name?
They call it a Luskan Red Blend. Yeah. She kind of gets the fact, and she kind of looks at you, and she's like, one moment. And she kind of like feels into her pocket, and she pulls out an envelope, and she kind of like opens the envelope, takes a letter out, and kind of like quickly scrambles it back in her pocket. Then she pours some of the tobacco into this envelope for you, and kind of like folds the flap over, then folds it again so it doesn't all pour out. It's like, if you get the chance to find yourself a pipe when you're out and about, then here, come accustomed to it. You won't regret it.
Thank you kindly.
When he buys a pipe, there's gonna be like just like a black and white label and a photo of her on the side of it.
And she gives you that kind of like patch you on your leg. Not a problem. It's nice when people take an interest in new things, I think. A lot of the people that come up this way, it's the same old folk, same old faces. And a lot of the time, it's just me and, the guards and stuff that are protecting the cargo.
You wouldn't happen to work with a man, and I will try to explain to her Sribbits.
Okay.
Give her a description of sorts.
Work? Have I worked with the man?
Yeah, I mean, did he travel perhaps with you? I believe you do travel this way and back.
I do. I'm not anybody that stands out particularly. No. I mean, a lot of my driving is usually cargo. There's not that many people that necessarily want to come up this way every so often. And so somebody, if I carried them, I'd remember that, I think. But no, this was a bit of a one-off. I was approached to see if I could find room on the wagon. They paid well for it, so not my place to say no, I feel. But no, if somebody's they've headed this way, you believe?
Oh, I'm not quite sure. I thought that maybe they came from the Hundel town.
Hundelstone. No, definitely not. Most people from Hundelstone, they don't leave Hundelstone. But no, not somebody that's the time. It's a small town. It's one of those that you're born there, you die there, that kind of thing.
I'm familiar, I believe.
Yeah. But no, if I see them, or I hear of them, and I can get word to you, then I will. But if they came this way, they've not done it on any of our wagons, which means they had a horse. And if they had a horse, then unless they pushed that horse 100 miles and got to Hundelstone in one night, then they'll have had to stop over at the selfie. And so, to the back of the wagon, anything that you and yours wish to discuss as we continue our journey?
I want to check the gold bag. Whoever has it, I'm going to grab it and check what's inside.
Yeah, it was just on the floor, so nobody had laid claim to it yet. So as you open it up, it is all gold pieces.
Nice.
Actually, no, it's not. Yeah, it is. All gold pieces. And you're kind of flicking. It's a heavy bag. Let's have a think. Hold on. Do you know what? Maybe it's not all gold. It looks like it's all gold pieces. And as you take the top half, you see that there are, in fact, some platinum pieces underneath.
Nice.
So platinum is worth 10 gold, and all in, you've got 1,000 in gold pieces, and then you've got 1,000 gold pieces, 1,000 in platinum, which would be 100 platinum. So you've got 2,000 gold pieces as your pay up front, with another 2,000 to be expected in East Haven.
That's 500 each.
Well counted.
What are you going to do with your 200, Turelios? 100 gold's a lot to spend.
Don't lose that 50. So yes, so you can all add 25 platinum and 250 gold to your inventories if you wish to split it now.
How do we whisper?
How do you whisper?
I don't know. How do we...
/WGM and then you write your message.
Okay, I will not use that now. Definitely.
It was an interesting moment to ask about it.
Yeah.
I'm not-
DM, how do I steal from the party?
No, I'm just kidding.
So, that was going to be. And immediately,
I look at Chris and say, "Well, he wasn't like joking. He's literally a man of means. There are coins of colors I've never seen here."
Oh no, sorry, that was me, the player, humming, not the character.
it is a heavy bag.
To the moon. So yeah, I start like grabbing coin by coin, like having fun with them, and then making little towers of coins.
Trying to keep them together.
Over there.
Yeah, and I try to keep them straight, but they keep falling because of the we're in a cart and it's not very stable. So what I do in the end is that I'm just gonna like make an even mounts, and I just gonna take the bigger for me, and I say, hey, here, this is for you, Chris, this is for you, Eileen, and this is for you, Triodos. Is there a way to like just make it we roll and see how much we have gold or something? Because it's like they're kind of even, but not really, right?
So you're not counting them out evenly. You're just kind of like trying
just by
to.
eye. Yeah, just by eye. I'm trying to make mounts of money that look the same size, basically. But I still look at like the biggest one, the one that seems biggest to me, and I just grab it.
What is the final? What is the end result that you are trying to do here? Are you trying to steal more money from the players?
I'm just trying to create some chaos. Like I want to give everyone his share, but maybe not everybody gets an equal share.
Okay, so I will say that you kind of spot that there's platinum under here. So while you're kind of counting out, you're kind of putting the platinum to one side. And so when you're counting out everybody's piles, you give them mostly platinum. So you've got this big pile of gold coins, and they've got like a few platinum covered by a few gold pieces, like these little smaller piles. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, so it looks like you've just like taken loads of gold, and then you've kind of like hidden these platinum bits under their 3 small piles of gold. In a calculated shenanigans type jester move, one might say.
Indeed. But we all still add the same amounts to our totals, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I'm not letting players steal off each other, because that would be ridiculous. That would be the end of the campaign.
How many miles can we travel with Seeker strapped to the wheel of the wagon?
Does it slow us down in any way?
What are you saying, Sika? Letitia?
I said that's so mean. You guys are mean.
Just dragging her. She's got her hands dragged on the edge of the wagon. She's been dragged for 100 miles. Okay.
In the ground.
So for Gris and Eileen, Letitia passes you these much smaller piles of gold than she takes for herself.
You may regret that if the wagon ends up in water. I hope you're a strong swimmer. And I'm
sure my fish friend will help me.
How do you know that, Gary?
I will reach into my pocket, withdraw the coin that was given to us by Jaraxxus, Eridar, Lord of the Burning Legion.
Yep.
So John Axel, and I'll sort of hold it between two fingers, sort of leant forward a bit where I'm sat, and just say to Eileen and to Lutetia, in she we follow, and she gives us the bounty.
I'm looking very carefully at what's happening now. Is anything happening now?
No.
No, I'm just reading what's on the coin.
Oh. Was that the silver coin? Okay, there.
The slightly adamantine coin.
For those, adamantine is a very, very, very valuable metal.
Oh, so these things are not just scribbles? I asked Gris.
No, they are a rather common dialect in if you go to the right sort of place.
Interesting enough. Any language in particular?
Undercommon, it is referred to as.
I kind of shrug at this. And
I
then
studied some tomes whilst I was based in Afkatla. The Order has extensive libraries. And I enjoy to read, and I pat my backpack underneath my legs.
I've begun to notice, I reply. So you like books?
I do indeed.
Any in particular, or just anything that you can get your hands on?
I do find myself preferring non-fiction. I enjoy broadening and expanding my horizons. When it comes to the entertainment of reading frivolous fiction, I would rather use that time actually engaging with people and expanding those social boundaries myself. But yes, in my time alone, I like to learn.
Oh, you found yourself quite a circus, Mr. Gross.
I'm going to be quite honest with you, Eileen. You keep cutting out quite heavily on your microphone, and I can't hear the first. It's the first thing you're saying. The first word is extremely quiet. I think it's the noise of the wagon.
Don't blame the wagon.
Possible.
What's the suspension like on this thing? Yeah, I don't know. I think like I don't know if your sensitivity is too low and it's only picking it up once you've made noise for a second. But it's only happened in like the last half hour.
I don't know why.
Is it happening for anybody else? Or is it just me?
I don't know.
It's fine for me.
A bit wonky, but I can understand her fine.
Let me recap. Speak again.
Okay, how's it sounding now?
Oh,
no, you're breaking really bad now. Yeah.
For some reason, worse.
Let me reload.
She's having a heart attack. Quick, Letitia, help me.
Did you smoke the pipe?
Everything, yeah, but every time Juralis is breathing out, it just goes straight from a porthole into Eileen's face. Oh, but wait, she's wearing a gas mask, so it's fine.
But she's like an American with the mask at the moment. She just wears it over her nose. She's already said that the mask.
Now. Is it any better and worse?
Oh, no, it's still bad for me.
Yeah, it seems okay. It's cutting in and out a little bit. Have you got it on push to talk or sensitivity?
No, I have it on sensitivity, but it might also be internet.
Oh no!
So good.
I figured it out.
Did you disconnect on purpose then, or did that go?
Let's go.
Oh, you're really, really quiet now, and really far away.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what's happening, but can you understand me at least a little bit?
Yeah.
It like starts really quietly, and then it speaks up here, and then it suddenly kind of kicks into it. So what I would suggest is maybe put it on push to talk, and then when you're going to talk, push to talk first, let it kind of kick in, give it a second, and then talk, and then finish, and then let go. You might just have to have that little bit of a delay before you talk.
I can try.
That was good.
First of all, she went, I can try.
Just end everything you say with begin transmission, and at the end say end transmission. So yeah, whilst Eileen is, I presume, changing those Discord settings, yes, I do enjoy reading, to summarize. Right, well.
Jenna just claps her hands at the front impulsively like Pavlov's dog. The pregnant pause claps. This is,
So Eileen's lighting up now, but I can't hear anything at all.
It's on the target. I didn't change the things. Hopefully something is going to hold. Am I being heard better now?
Yes.
Yes.
Hallelujah.
Maybe you just need to keep it pushed all the time and just keep permanently transmitting.
We hold. Permanently on hold. This is fine. This is fine.
There we go. Yes, come on then, the two of you, the three of you.
Yes, so what does Eileen have a response to that?
Like, she seems to nod in acceptance.
Excellent.
Okay. And Jenna at the front kind of like casts a glance over. She's like, well, I hope you've brought plenty to read because there's not much else to do on this road, even less to do in Huddlestone. And, well, I've never really travelled up to Bryn Shander myself, but it doesn't sound like there's that much in the Dale either.
I did bring a number of books. I haven't had a chance to take them out and look at them yet. I might do that later on.
Do them whenever you want. I'm ready.
Oh, okay, then I will look and see what the books are. I may be able to update Luskan Book 1, 2, 3, and 4 from my inventory.
Is that what you got?
Yeah, that's right, I have. In the book section, the book subsection of my backpack.
Did you pick anything in particular? You didn't go for
Apparently a red one, a grey one, a red one with gold corners, and a green one.
Okay, cool. Okay, so the first one that you have is Blood in Dust, and it is a beginner's guide to blood rituals.
Oh, fucking hell.
And that is the red one. And like on the front, it's got like dark embossing into this like little soft cover. Even though like the kind of like quick and easy one, it's like just got this like slight subtle embossing of like dark candles and dark glyphs and symbols in no language that you understand. And then just kind of like a almost a horrified look of what you've picked up as you open it up. You quickly realise that it is not particularly a guide to any rituals. It is more talking about cultists and the fervour and stock that they put into different types of rituals. So it doesn't tell you how to perform rituals. It just kind of has a bit of an idea of what kind of rituals people do.
Oh, sorry, only the intro, only the front page is a language I don't understand.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. No, I mean, not to give it away anything, it's not a language. It's just like kind of made to look all, ooh, it's just like, somebody just wrote it in Klingon or something.
Yeah. Okay, so it's more about the theory behind blood rituals.
Yes. So there might be some interesting information to glean from there through a read. But as it stands, nothing else.
Okay.
The next one is Oath of Oak. And that is talking about different types of natural magic, kind of druidic magic and primal magic, and it talks about a few of the Faerunian gods, such as Mililoque. I can't think what her name is. Forgotten Realms.
Mistra, do you mean?
No.
It's druidic, it could be... There's Sylvanus, there's Chica Fast Paws, there's Bevran Wild Wanderer, there's Baal.
There you go, it was Baal. I can't remember her name. Oh, it's like Mililoque or something like that. I don't know.
I have never heard of this one. Cool, okay. Such as...
there you go. Mililiki. There you go.
I'll look up how to spell that later. Oh, okay.
Letitia didn't say it. I said that. Letitia most definitely did not. She is a neutral good goddess of autumn, druids, dryads, forests, forest creatures, and rangers. That's what it says on the blurb on the front. So it's
she's the author.
Yeah. So it's kind of like about her gifts and about druidic magic and stuff like that. She's the daughter of Sylvanus.
Victory for Sylvanus. Victory. Okay, book number 3.
Book number 3 is The Face of the Empire and the magic within. And this use. Let me double check something.
And the last one is Rime the Frostmaiden. A guide explore the chilling frozen north.
Okay. There are engravings on not engravings. This kind of like the border, the banner, kind of like like how you've got like around the page, you've got like the border. It's like a pattern thing.
The monk
it
shit.
is yes. It is in glyphs and sigils that you recognise, and I'm not going to say anything else about this out loud.
Okay, you're going to DM me later.
I will DM you later. Yes.
Okay.
And then you said there's one more book. Yeah.
Yep.
The last book is The Sulphur Bow. And then you kind of, the sulphur bow. And then as you start reading it, look at a little gloss. It's the sulphur bough, as in the bough of a tree. And it's about the proposed burning of the world tree kind of element. And it talks about the collapse of Mishra and the wheel and all the different versions of how magic works, and talks about spell play and stuff like that. It's more of a historical take.
Okay.
There you go.
I will presume that I'm going to start reading The Face of the Empire unless anything you tell me later makes me think, oh, I would not do that, in which case I'll be reading Oath of Oak.
Okay, Ben, I'll just send you a quick message.
Sure, okay.
I'll do it over PMs.
Also, don't forget your book on 101 Ways to Cook Straw.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes, thank you. I will add that to my inventory as well.
And it has an inscription inside that says, "Try your charm on these if you ever get bored." On the front page. How nice.
Very nice.
You don't know whose hand it was written in. It could have been written in anyone's hand. You've never seen Eileen, right?
As far as I know, no, you did not.
Bear with me. You are there.
Is this coming through Discord? Or are you playing it risky and
I-
doing it through Foundry?
No, oh god, no! I'm 100% doing it through Discord. I'm not stupid, because I will absolutely cock it up. Bear with me.
I mean, Discord also has the added benefit of being able to copy paste without much issue.
There you go. I have sent that to you, Harrison.
Okay, yeah, I will read Oath of Oak first.
Okay.
That is my current reading. I won't go so far as to set up downtime tracker. No, I will! I will set downtime activities, but in a quiet moment.
Okay, so you're going to read. Do you want me to tell you? Do you want me to read that to you? Do you want me to tell you what
I'm
it is?
happy for you to message me later if you want, so other people, if everybody else
I
has
can
stuff.
read it out to you, because I've got generators. So the book, you start reading it. It's Lorem Ipsum Dolor sit Amet. Just so good. So good. Okay, there you go. So those are your books.
Thank you.
Okay.
You made me laugh out loud with this one. Good job.
Do it again. Do it again.
Beautiful.
Okay, so you're all kind of chatting away. I guess at some point, I don't know, everybody starts getting a little bit hungry. I don't know whether you want to dig into those juicy apples that the Grist brought you. But there's obviously the ration packs as well. It's got like travel jerky and nuts and berries and a little bit of hard bread, and just these little packages wrapped up into individual ration packs. But for now, we'll not worry too much about counting them out. And you travel and you're all kind of chatting. It seems like good company. As much as you kind of like get used to Jenna's cough after a while, and like at the beginning, every time she did it, you're kind of questioning it and worried about it. But after a couple of hours of just even when she's just riding along, kind of like coughing away, it doesn't seem to bother her. She's never out of breath. She's always kind of like engaged in the conversation with everybody, and it's quite a pleasant ride. And then as it starts getting darker, it's kind of getting to the point where I don't know who has dark vision.
I do.
For those
Not the human, I can tell you that.
60 feet here.
So for you, it's starting to get. It's getting darker. The kind of the deep golds and the blues of daylight start to settle, and it starts shifting into that grey spectrum that your dark vision gives you. And she kind of like rides for a little bit longer, and she kind of informs you like that. There's a place that I like to stop. It's off the road a little bit and keeps us covered, away from the mountainside. So we should be fine. It goes in a bit of a gully. We can get a fire going without much of a problem. And rest assured, after about another half an hour, it kind of starts coming off the road a little bit. It's a much more bumpier ride. And then just travels a little bit, and you can feel it kind of like dropping down a little bit, kind of past this little copse of trees. And then after a while, she kind of parks up the wagon. And there's no tents or anything like that. It's literally everybody's going to be getting snug, kind of in a bit of a sat-up position in the wagon for sleeping. But she's happy to start a campfire. You can, for those of you that are hindered by cold and can feel it, it's definitely getting a lot colder. Now that night's kicked in, this little copse that you're near breaks a little bit of the wind, and she's parked the wagon to try and block out the direction where the wind's coming from. And she starts putting, getting a little fire going, and kind of pulls out a little packet of some rabbit, or some diced up rabbit, and starts putting a little pot of water on the boil for making everybody a stew while everyone's settling down for the night. Unless anybody has anything they want to say, we can expedite.
Sure.
I think we can expedite.
Okay. You will, of course, have to take in turns doing a watch. What order would you like to go in? And Jenna says that she is happy to do a watch at any time. It's not a problem for her.
I will offer to take first watch.
First watch? Okay. Going to be difficult for you because it's like almost pitch black out here. So it'll be more keeping the fire going and keeping an eye and an ear out more than being able to see anything. It's pitch black on the horizon, but because the snows haven't fully melted, it's got that moonlight kind of like blue glow around. So it's not like pitch black. So you can see stuff. You can see shadows and things.
He's setting up for battle map there.
Well, we'll see, won't we? Who knows? Depends how your watch goes. So you're going to be on first watch. If you can roll me a. So I've just realised I've had this music playing for the entirety of this session. I zone the music out so much that it just doesn't even bother me. And I thought, oh yeah, I might have to prompt some combat music. But we'll see. We'll see. So let's put something else on. Oh yeah, you're gonna get plenty of that.
That's coming.
I can save you for that for a while. Okay, let's try this one. I'm not
We
sure.
can provide the music. Oh no, wait, we don't have a bard. We can provide the music.
Okay.
Technically, I am a bard, though.
That's true. Yeah, technically. Do you actually have a musical instrument? I don't think you do.
I have a viola or viol, I don't know how you pronounce it.
You pronounce it viola, violin, viola, however you want.
Viola? Okay, I have one.
I have a conch.
Oh, nice. Do you do any playing this evening whilst everybody's settling by the fire and eating stew and chatting and laughing?
We can try and improvise a duet with Trielos. He's up for it.
Oh, nice. Okay. So you guys want to
Suggest
proceed?
it. I suppose he would be up for it.
Okay.
He wouldn't go up with a proposition of his own.
You guys
So-
are having a little jam.
Well, I'm
When
not sure how well my instrument will supplement yours, but we can give it a go, I suppose.
Jenna, go on.
I like playing a few notes and seeing if Trielos can like tune his conch. How do you pronounce it? Conch?
Conch, yeah.
I think so.
Conch. That's a weird word. Anyway, I'm gonna see if he can like replay the same notes, so we can like try to get some harmonies going on. Just simple notes.
Ooh, it's a puzzle. If you match the notes, you're going to unlock something. Letitia will level up.
As do we all perform.
Wow. Before you do, so as you kind of like start playing, and Jenna's kind of like smiling a little bit, and she kind of like holds her hand up and goes into the back of the wagon and pulls out 2 rags and gives a piece to Letitia and a piece to Trielos and says, I think maybe if you could pack the conch a little bit with that cloth and maybe dampen your strings, as much as I'd love to have be serenaded this evening whilst I'm under such good company, I wouldn't necessarily want to bring attention to us from everything that might be around here. So this should help keep things a little quieter. And she kind of like says it kind of like with a bit of a smile, Doesn't want to dampen the mood or anything. We're a long way from civilization here.
Oh, I suppose you would be the expert on that, so...
I mean, it can work 2 ways. Sometimes it can scare things away. Sometimes it can attract things. But, it's bad enough with the fire, but the fire we need to stay warm. But please, at least play a little. And she kind of sits down.
I'll nod and do as she says.
Okay. Then I'm going to say. So what we're going to do? We're going to do 3 rolls, and I'm going to let. Letitia. So it's going to be dexterity checks, because that's what you use for. Are you proficient with your instrument, Turelios?
Yes.
And I'm presuming that as a bard you are as well, Letitia. Oh, this has got very somber and dark colors in it. Let's go.
Felt a bit more melancholy.
Yeah, it did go a
It
little
was
bit
about. It was about to get bloody rains of Castum here then.
Is this the part of the story where we're going to share our backstories?
Sribbit sends his regards.
Right, let's see what this one is, if it actually does anything. Is it actually playing anything, this one?
Not yet.
Mm.
But yeah, that was perfect for that time where, have we reached that point in leveling up our trust in each other to share our tragic backstories?
Okay, let's go with. Okay, I'm gonna go for this one then. Doesn't seem to be playing any of them, so that's no good. Or is it? Oh, there you go. That's fine. Idiot. Does Letitia do a bit of humming while she's doing it? With the fucking organ she's just got.
He does, but with very infernal sonorities,
Oh, nice.
Some sounds you won't usually, but it's beautiful nonetheless. But it's like sounds you're not used to hear.
Okay, that whole vibe is from Turelios. So Letitia gets you started. Not necessarily singing. That's up to her. Oh wow, this is very not what I expected, but I like it. I'm going to go with Letitia. You're going to roll. You're going to start by determining what the DC is. You can tell us how high you want to go with the DC, whether your man here can keep up, or whether you can keep up with each other. It'll be interesting to see.
We can
So it is-
start with the simple one at 10, the first one.
Sure, we can start at DC 10. You can both start with each other. So it is a dexterity check, and if you're proficient with the item, then add your proficiency bonus as well, which is a +2. So it's a dexterity check with proficiency. You should be able to select that when you go to make the roll. Oh, nice. Just makes it. Nice. Oh, so Letitia is kind of like swaying back and forth with her viola. Kind of humming every so often a
Wait,
little.
sorry, I'm not sure I did it correctly. So if you look at my roll, why is it plus?
Yeah,
It's
it
like
gives you
1 plus 2 because I wanted to add the +2 proficiency, but what's the +1?
probably the jack of all trades.
Oh
been
yeah,
counted for some reason.
yeah, maybe. Yeah, good call.
Cool.
Okay, so next one should be 13 then. Let's go.
Okay, let's go. Tyrellis is keeping up. And I'm going to say, as you smashed it, Letitia, you're going to get advantage on this one. So you're keeping the tone. Nice.
You're not half bad, Trielos. Let's make things interesting. I'm gonna see if Trielos wanna make things financially interesting and bet with 2 golds on the last note.
Not really, no.
You're no fun. Let's do it anyway.
You want to go? What do you want to set for the last DC?
Yeah, this one should be, I think, 17, right? No, it's 16. The
Sure.
level after 13 is 16. Yeah, 16. Let's go.
I'm going to give you both advantage.
Oh, okay. So I will.
Also, very important question for me. Are they singing more lively or are you ending in something like a lullaby as per music suggests?
Okay. Did it roll with advantage?
You got advantage. No, I didn't, but you've got to roll again.
Okay.
And roll better.
Not really, no.
You were wise not to bet on this one.
And you can see that as Letitia says about betting, she's kind of like building up to something in Torios, and you can kind of see it in her eye that she's being a bit sneaky. And she just kind of like starts playing this melody that goes a little bit quicker and a little bit deeper. And it's just changing pace, and you can kind of like, and like you're trying to keep the conch going. And it's more the conch it just can't keep up. It just doesn't have the same rhythm and dexterity, and you kind of like lose
with
it.
the rag, wouldn't it?
Especially with the rag in it. But it kind of finishes nicely, but you kind of like finish and put it down, and Letitia's is the one that finishes this song that she knows. You're kind of like riffing with each other, but then she kind of like goes into this. I'm gonna say that it's kind of like this lament, this kind of like sad song that everyone's just kind of like enraptured with, and she kind of like continues playing for a while, and then it comes to a gentle end. And you just hear and Jenna's got a bit of a just kind of like trying to subtly wipe away a tear in her eye.
That was quite enchanting, Leticia, on your part. Seem to be doing very well with your craft.
Oh, you're not half bad yourself. We can train from time to time if you want.
Oh, that could be interesting. I have to say that I'm not particularly skilled at it, but it is and not very versatile as well. I do know but one instrument, very popular in my parts. Let's say.
It's more than enough.
Usually, it's more a tool rather than something akin to your horns, I believe.
Interesting. I didn't know that. So it's more for warning others of danger.
Well, yes, but as you can see, it can be used in different ways, if one is so inclined. But bravo to you, my dear.
Thank you.
And I'll playfully toss you a coin.
I'm just gonna grab it and like just grin and say nothing. Just the victory in my eyes, you know.
I want to grab it and try and replace it with a smaller coin.
Okay. So the group continues and just kind of casual chat. It's been a long drive. You're all pretty weary. Unless anybody's got anything pressing they want to say, it's just, casual talk. A lot of kind of just sitting, looking to the fire, keeping warm, eating food, eating this stew, which is nice. It's unless Sir Gris got involved in it at all, it is a hearty stew that it tastes fine.
Full of sunflower oil under the oiliest stew. No, okay.
Yeah, I don't know whether Sir Gris is always like, "Oh, allow me to jump in here," or he's kind of like, "This isn't my
he's not. No, he's not. He's not a ponce.
So yeah, it's warm, it's filling, it does the job, and you all feel well rested. And one by one, everybody kind of like starts rolling shoulder. Jenna's the first one saying like, "Well, I think it's time for me to go and get my head down. Thank you for the company. Thank you for the music, and I hope the food wasn't too bad. It's much better at the selfie, so you only have to wait another day. I bid you all good night."
Good night to you.
Yeah.
And she will head over to the wagon, kind of climbs up the back where you guys all get in. You kind of hear her over to the front, and you can kind of hear some whispering, like she's gone to the front of the wagon, and she's kind of like whispering something out into the darkness. You can roll perception checks if you're bothered. Otherwise, let us continue.
I'm curious.
Roll me a DC 12 perception check. There's a bit of wind, it's a bit exposed out here. No, you just hear some kind of... She's talking to somebody, saying something, but you're not sure what. And then there's just a bit of coughing. And depending on how long it takes you guys to retire yourselves, the coughing just slowly dies out a little bit. Every so often there's a bit of in a sleep, but that's about it.
So I, taking first watch, will seat myself. I will take my lantern out, place it on the floor between my legs, and I will quietly say, "Bloom." And the light will change to a colour of my choice from the light it casts, which I'll make a very dark red.
Okay.
Just so I have a bit of a...
Roxanne!
Just so I've got a bit of sight, but not a nice big blaring on the hillside colour. I could also extend it to... I feel like it also has the option to extend that to 60 bright, 120 dim, but I feel like, although that sort of colour might work in nature documentaries, blasting it 120 feet on the hillside of white snow is probably a piss take. So I will just keep it at its standard size, but it is now dark red. And I'll sort of rest my hammer across my lap, and just my default position will be to have my palms facing the lantern, getting its heat.
Okay. Are the rest of you retiring, or what? Well, say whatever you want to say before it's bedtime.
First, did you do the trick with the lantern while we were still awake? the question.
Yeah, I wouldn't have hidden. I mean, you've already seen me use it to shoot magical beams of fire at children, so you know that there's something. You know that it's not a normal lantern.
Pretty much, yes. But
They call it the child
around the
burner.
point where I'm asking, is there anything else that thing of yours can do?
There are literally 9 other things that this lantern can do, dear Eileen. It is a lantern of many things.
Oh, so far I'm grateful for the light it provides, but what else does this little thingy do?
Have you ever been to the ethereal plane?
Can't say that I have.
No. It's all fairly functional. It can turn itself off and on. I can have the hood of the lantern raise or lower. I may change the intensity, the color, the distance of the light. I can cause it to simply spread fire to things nearby and inflame them. And what you've seen already, it's useful in combat. And beyond that, a couple of other little tricks I'll keep to myself for now.
Ooh, useful thing.
Indeed.
May I ask how'd you come upon it?
You know, just one day it was just...
Ended up in my inventory.
I'll tell you, but I don't know what it is yet, so I'll drop it in. I'll just put a little anecdote in Discord at some point during the week. Let me see, but
Worst thing ever. I'm in making fucking books up back to back, and this guy can't even fucking
make
say what he
it.
got.
Click and redo on a generator.
Got the title. It's not to
I
make all the
found
fucking memories.
it in a store. I bought it when I was in Afkatla. It's the answer to everything. Back in Afkatla. Yes, I won it in a game of Talus in the... Have you been to Afkatla, Eileen?
No. So far, all I've seen has been a bit of Waterdeep and far too much of Baldur's Gate.
I've never had the pleasure. Copper Coronet, a little tavern in the slums. I won it in a card game. The old owner was not best pleased to have lost, but he shouldn't have overplayed his hands quite so well.
Remind me never to bet against you. Because if you manage to steal that thing from underneath some poor old fellow.
Not steal, won.
Ah, yes, a very clear distinction.
Indeed. But yes, it has a few other things it can do, but it's getting late, so we should be careful, quiet as we speak. And after I say speak, I follow up with, don't you think, Eileen? But you hear those words whispered from your ear as if I was also stood next to you.
I'm currently looking a bit around myself.
And I just wiggle my eyebrow before returning to my watch.
I just let out a bit of a chuckle while shaking my head.
I imagine at some point of this, the DM opened my character sheet like, what the fuck else can this lantern do?
What do I need to delete slowly but surely? I can't believe he's read all 9 things now. There used to be 23, but I've deleted them one at a time. It's not.
No.
Just slowly nerfing it, see if he notices.
Every spell that does fire damage is in with yes, a slight meteor swarm.
Anyway, are you taking this watch with Sir Gris, Eileen? What's happening with everybody? Jenna's gone to bed.
Yeah.
Is everybody else joining and going into the wagon, apart from Gris?
Well, if Gris would welcome the company.
I feel As flattered as I am, do you not need for sleep? It's a long day and it promises to be uncomfortable.
Oh, clearly. But once you throw me to bed, chances are I'm not going to wake until daybreak.
I mean, as far as the normal watch and requiring thing, the fact that you guys have pretty much been sat down the entirety of this journey, you're not exactly exhausted. I mean, it's been a long day and you could probably sleep, but so I'm not going to put in the same requirements where it's like, okay, we're going to track the hours and stuff. If you want to do 2 and 2, then that is also fine.
Then, by all means. That disembodied voice has convinced me otherwise. I would welcome the company.
Okay, so we'll say that you two are going to do a watch, and then Letitia and Turios can do a watch, and then Jenna will do a watch on her own. She'll do the last watch as she's kind of prepping the wagon in the morning, and we'll say that's kind of like the decision that's been made. So, can you either roll together, or one of you aid the other?
Neither of us have dark vision, do we? So we just roll separate.
Yes, you can both roll separate then, I guess.
The lantern also grants me advantage on perception checks at night. Oh, that was almost an 18 for me. Oh, shit.
You are, you kind of like chatting on and off through the night. Every so often, one of you might kind of like just take like a little dozy minute, closing their eyes, just kind of like listening, enjoying the warmth, the fire that kind of like tries to sputter out every so often. Not fully going to sleep, but just resting in the comfort that there's two of you there. But still ever stalwart. And then at some point during the middle of the night, you both collectively hear like something going on, some sound. It kind of like perks you both up. It's like the first thing that you've heard over the top of this wind. There's no Lorelei now. There's no campfire.
So, Chris, have you been hearing what I've been hearing as well?
Indeed. Bloom, shine. And I'll have the lantern change to a slightly lighter red, but I'll have it for just to pulse out to 120 feet. And I'll have a look around. And if I don't see anything that concerns me, I will have it drop back down to standard.
As soon as it goes out, there's just like about 6 rabbits that are just like kind of caught in the bright beam. They just past the door, just kind of propped up, like, and then they just start bounding through the snow away from you. You kind of like fucking freak them out for a second, and then they just kind of like bolt off, and you kind of like, and it is the same noise.
It sounded like fluttering, you see. I thought it was like waiting for like Sturges.
Oh my god! How awful am I?
Okay, I will still just take this moment of having a much wider range. I will just take a few seconds and glance around before I dim it back down.
Okay. And yeah. It's just getting further and further away, and then you can't hear anything. Just the wind and the crackling of the fire. I should have a crackling fire sound on the prep. I have got one somewhere, but I can't bother digging it out.
That's one where I would recommend putting it in soundboard. And
I've got. Yeah. I didn't need to get my soundboard sorted. Good idea, dear.
I can send you the file structure for like all the non-Strahd specific stuff I have, like spells and campfires and
cool
and monstrous roars. So many roars.
So it passes without any event other than some rabbits that were suddenly caught out. And a few hours, you feel that your watch is coming to an end. You're kind of like tracking the fire dying down and how long it takes to refuel it, and I guess that's how you're tracking your timing. And then it is time for the others to have their watch.
Excellent.
And we'll do a quick transition that Eileen and Gris kind of nudging Letitia and Troios and waking them for their watch. Presuming you're getting up with no issues and going to the camp. Okay. Is there anything you two wish to talk about whilst you are on your own and doing your watch? You've like kind of been snug in the covers and the furs in the back of the wagon. It's still a little bit exposed, so it's not like super warm or anything. But you're kind of under a little cover of a blanket of furs and stuff, and kind of like stepping out into this cold wind is a bit miserable, at least for you, Letitia.
I'm happy enough. I'm happy enough to initiate a conversation about musical exploits of Letitia. Hear something about where she learned to play and what instruments.
I'm just going to ignore that and ask him to talk to me about his hometown instead.
Ignore that. Okay.
Shrugs it up. No, tell me more about you. Do you wish to tell her about your hometown, or do we come to an awkward impasse during this watch?
No, it's fine. We are actually going towards the land where I lived. If the maps are correct.
They are.
Oh, how did you end up so far south then, if you come from the north?
Well, the sea is tricky to navigate, especially when it throws you up and down, and then you land somewhere where you've never been, on a beach of sorts, let's say, on a frigid little ice floe, more like, and you try to find your way. But it's not easy to navigate when you have nothing to go by and you've barely even walked in your life. You can imagine that.
I can. Do you think if we ever reach it, do you allow visitors down there, or is it some kind of private club?
I don't believe we are going that way.
Oh, too bad.
I've
I've never been underwater. I'm curious how life would even look like down there.
Depends where you go. Not like here, there are places where nothing leaves, and bare rock is everything you can see miles away. But you also have some beautiful things down there. Those I miss. I don't know, we'll small talk it away, I suppose. I don't think Turilos would speak about any particular things, like very pertinent or
Personal stuff.
Fair
yeah.
enough.
He would
I won't
much
push anymore.
stick to the general overview.
Yeah, I won't push for info. I respect his boundaries.
Nice. It's early days. You're all a new group. I think it's nice us touching base. We're touching base. It's good. There's no sitting down and saying, so tell me about the worst thing that ever happened to you in your life.
Sounds traumatic. Tell me more.
Juicy. Gets the violin out, starts playing as he's talking to her. Okay. So it's kind of idle chatter, and it's friendly enough. And again, you kind of keeping the fire going. Letitia, you're the one that seems to be keeping it going more than Torelios. As much as he's kind of conscious of when the light starts dimming, he doesn't necessarily always notice when it's starting to get a little bit colder. Whereas you're kind of like constantly. Does she prefer the warmth, being a tiefling, and where she may inevitably?
Wow. So racist.
Yeah, just make an assumption. I live in space, man. It's always cold.
Fair enough. Well, either way, you feel the cold, so you're kind of like keeping on top of it a bit. And Tyros is starting to get, then after a couple of hours, starting to notice the signs of okay, yeah, the fire needs refueling. He's kind of helping you and things like that. Can you either? Oh, Stygian breed. Either both roll me individually. Oh, you can both see in the dark, so you can either both roll me individually, or one of you can hit the other. Up to you.
We perhaps could have coordinated those watch groups better, couldn't we?
Yeah, you really should have chosen. Yeah.
I'm fine with rolling each one.
Okay, both of you roll.
Okay. What do we need to roll? Perception?
Yeah.
Sorry, did you say with advantage because of or
No.
No. Okay.
Yeah, just normal. It's only with advantage if you were aiding somebody else.
Nice.
Okay. You are both very easily seeing anything that's going around, and at one point you see something kind of far in the distance, kind of like moving around a little bit, and then it kind of like just skitters off into nowhere. Doesn't look like it was anything that was posing a threat, but there was some kind of wildlife out here. Do you know what, how do I do a hidden roll? I can just click the box and just private GM roll.
Said you literally never would. This is the worst thing ever. My God, absolutely. Yeah, you can click on the drop down. I think there is like a key shortcut you can do, but I'm not confident enough on what it is.
GMR. /GMR, that's anything. Okay. As you are both kind of chatting, and it's still dark outside. Everything's just kind of like grayscale for you, apart from near the fire. And you're both kind of quiet and both just kind of looking at the stars. It's just so beautifully clear up above you. And whilst you're watching, at the same time, you're both kind of looking, and you both see a shooting star kind of like fall across the sky. And that's it. There's nothing any more eventful to your watch.
First romance coming in.
Boom, boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom.
The fish and the thief.
Now make a wish. So there you go. If there's anything else you wish to do or say, now's your time. Otherwise, wakey for Jenna.
Nothing there, but when I go to sleep again, I will actually use one of my special items. I will push my dreams towards the scene where we played, and I will take sort of dreaming practice. Try some different things. We'll replay the scene of us playing in a duet, and try different things and try to see if I can do better.
Okay.
And sort of enjoy the whole situation as it replays through the hour or so. And then I'd like to also send a short message to Eileen.
Okay. She's asleep.
Yes.
Okay.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if we are if it's.
You pass it to a sleeping creature. Okay, yeah.
We have a message spell. Wake up!
Shut up!
No,
Hardly aware of it.
it's also happening like within the dreams, so it requires us both, I suppose, to be asleep.
Yeah. Okay, so you're sending her a message in your dreams.
What is
Indeed.
Are you sending that privately to her, or are you saying it out loud so that the DM knows?
I'm fine either way. I don't know if you have any preferences regarding things like that.
I think unless it's going to be stuff that is very private to characters and I know about it. I would always prefer
We need to wake up earlier and kill him.
I feel like as the DM, I should at least always be involved in them.
Sure thing.
The other players
Unless
don't
like this whole D&D campaign is a front for you cybering, then yeah.
It's fine. I didn't think about how it's flavored, to be honest, like how the dream connections work, so we can figure that out as we go. But for this time, I'll just let her know that this journey, I have a good feeling about it, friend, and I'm very glad that we are on it together. And I believe she can respond because it works.
It works like message.
As per the message country, yes. So if you
So
want,
I can respond back.
Yeah,
Excellent.
even while you're asleep. Cute.
It's absolutely adorable. I love this. From me, you're hearing back. I am very happy to hear that. Are you starting to get used to the others?
believe
And
it
then-
does not work.
And then you'll find out in the morning when he wakes up. The message from you once. So it is a one-way. It's a one. So it's message. So he can send a message of 25 words, and you can respond with 25 words, and then that's it. And he gets to do that once per long rest.
So
Well,
it's just that.
Yeah.
Apologies, I forgot.
yeah. So posing all these conundrums and questions to him, and now he can't sleep. He's like, fuck me. Just screaming into the void, trying to reply in his dream. Are you using any other elements of your amulet of dreams?
No. Not for
Okay.
now.
Okay, cool. Then, yeah, so you guys are asleep, and kind of like as you woke Jenna up and you're kind of like dozing off, prior to all this message shenanigans, you can hear her. She's kind of like over to the horses and kind of like they're like, she's kind of like stroking them and like chatting, trying to stifle the cough a little bit more, and she's kind of dealing with stuff and starting to potter around the camp. And by the time you either wake up naturally or she gives a little tap and a thud on the side of the wagon, you wake up and it is a little gloomier outside, a little bit more overcast on the day. Looks like it could possibly throw a bluster of snow, but nothing too serious. It's just a bit colder than it was the night before. And it looks like the horses are already kind of prepared. They're just not attached to the wagon yet. They're harnessed up on their tether, which is attached like on a guideline between the wagon and this one of the trees from this copse of trees. And the camp is almost packed up. It's kind of like bundled to one side. She's done as much as she can without waking you all up. I hope that you all slept okay. Not the comfiest, I know, but can be warm enough.
Indeed, it was. I'm so tempted to say nothing now, just to try and bait bees. Right. Indeed, it was surprisingly comfortable. I think having a good meal in my stomach helped.
Good. Afraid I've only brought enough for one meal on this leg of the journey, and then another meal on the second leg. So tonight we'll eat at the Selfie Inn, Selfie Stop. But it's going to be trail rations for the rest of the day, unless you've got something else you want to cook up yourselves.
Nothing I'm willing to risk.
Yeah.
Nothing I'm really willing to risk trying for the first time on the move.
As you will. And she kind of like takes the rest of these pots and pans that were kind of left out just in case, and then starts packing the final things away as she then goes over and starts tethering up the fastening up the horses to the wagon, getting ready to go on the move.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, the first thing I'll say to Eileen when I see her is, well, yes, I do actually. They do seem like worthy traveling companions.
I just giggle at this. And then I'm going to ask,
Speaking of, you're going to be up there again.
you're
Sorry.
going to be up there again. I say,
There.
gesturing to the open road, so to say.
Is he going to sit in with Jenna?
Yes.
Ah, okay. didn't catch the meaning at all. So he looks in confusion.
Are you going to be with Jen up there again?
Oh, I didn't think about it. I don't know if anyone else wants to. I do feel like we shouldn't leave her entirely alone. She did seem to like the company.
It is I not. Look at you again. How are you dressed? It's a very clear question. How are you dressed?
Well, same as before. What are you asking? Like, how warm?
Yes. Are you warm enough?
Oh, I am. It's just a little breeze right now.
I'm convinced.
Chilly.
I'm
Lovely
giving
chill.
you my scarf anyway.
Oh,
Ah,
well, I will tie it around my neck. Yes. See why not?
Mm.
And while
looking
these-
you over. I'm feeling
Very.
better.
and while these two seem to be having a bit of a companion moment, just Jenna, right, come on then, let's get a move on. And she kind of like gets up into her seat. If you're coming, get in the back now. I want to get a move on. I don't trust these winds. Don't trust this snow that's trying to come. I don't want to get caught out in it.
I
She's
will
like,
hop onto the back. How many hours reading do you estimate the Oath of Oak to be, DM?
Oh, I mean, you could probably go through like all of these books in the 2 days journey.
Oh,
en
really?
route.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, they're all, I mean, we said they're only like thin Reader's Digest ones, and you're a bit of a reader,
True,
so you could
that's
probably
true.
burn through these. Yeah, unless you want to reread over some of them, like absorbing them. Oh yeah. But yeah, you could do them.
Cool.
Do
I
all
look
four.
forward to full Google document write-ups.
Cool. I look forward to reading what you found out.
Oh, great. Excellent. Yeah, you please do leave that in my hands.
Sure. See how it comes back and bites you in the ass, though. Yes, I'm going to do this because it said it in the book. Yes, you believed that was true what you read.
Does anyone else take the place in the front?
I would not.
Letitia?
Sorry, I didn't get that. What was the question?
Does anyone else take the seat in the front by?
Oh no, I'm sitting in the back. I don't like the wind. I'm hidden.
Okay. Then Torilos, I believe, will hop right on.
Look at you making new friends.
And as you kind of...
and just before we leave, I will also mention that we did see a curious light in our watch. It was moving very fast through the sky. It was quite a sight. I do believe that the land dwellers consider it a good omen, right?
You mean a shooting star? And she kind of looks up.
I
Wait,
think
wasn't
so. I look at Leticia for answers.
wasn't that just a bird on fire? Where I come from, sometimes when you look in the sky, you can see sturges just spontaneously combusting and falling into the stick. It's quite a sight, quite funny.
I think I'm hearing you.
And Jenna kind of like laughs and says, they're not uncommon around these parts. When the sky's clear enough, you do find quite a lot of them in particular weathers. It kind of denotes that The aurora is strong in the north.
Would we? It's one of them, isn't it? Would we be familiar with auroras? Like, would Icewind Dales have like the only aurora, or
I don't think they would have the only aurora.
Yeah,
I think
hearing
it's probably
wouldn't be
something.
like, what is the aurora?
You've probably heard of an aurora. You've probably never
Yeah.
seen an aurora, but they're probably they happen maybe as far south as Luskan, so it might be something that has been visible. But you've not seen one yourselves, I don't think. They're not so common down here.
Sure.
I have a question. Did we already take our clothes, or are they still in the big bag of clothes?
They're still in the big bag. So unless you can say that you got. You can absolutely.
Yes, I want. Yeah, I want to go through the bag and choose something to my size to wear. Because starting to get cold.
It looks like each of the bundles has one of your names on it.
Oh, nice.
From the measurements when you went to get measured up at Claskers, which didn't actually happen, but did happen. So you have your clothes for those that are feeling the cold now. It is a much colder day today. Even Jenna, who was kind of riding without her woolen cloak, has it kind of up and around her with this like brooch that kind of fastens in this like little hood over her head, and so she's kind of like trying to keep the wind up as well. It does feel like it's suddenly turned, like the night cold just hasn't gone away. It's just kind of like kept up and got a bit worse. She kind of like puts the reins to the horses and kind of like jolts you while you're kind of like trying to get these clothes on in the back of the wagon whilst it's still moving. Like, sorry, girl, no time to wait around. We're going to get as much of a move on as we can. So that's kind of like turning the horses round slowly on this like wide arc to take you back up onto the road where you came off. And as you kind of hit the road and Turielis is sat beside her, she's like, I'm glad you joined me again, Truss. It was lovely to have a good chat with you yesterday. No, I found myself with idle hands last night, and it's not much, but I fapped myself silly too. She reaches into her pocket and she pulls out a very crudely crafted pipe. Says, it won't do much, and I definitely recommend trying to find a better one at some point, but it's something my daddy used to do, and I kind of picked up a bit of a skill for it. And she passes you over. And it's more like a little corncob Popeye type pipe, as opposed to hers, which is like kind of like a hook pipe. Yours is kind of like a stick with a little block on the end of it.
Sure.
And,
Thank you very much.
No problem. And she gets her flint and steel iron, kind of gives her pipe a flick, and kind of like watches you to see if you are interested in smoking a pipe with her, watching, waiting eagerly.
Well, let's give it a spin, I suppose.
Fantastic. And as you kind of like, she's like kind of like watching over you, like kind of like, okay, get that little bit there, and just tuck it in, and then pack it down with this bit here. Kind of like shows you how to pack it in, like thing. Puts it up and let's kind of like after a few little tries, you kind of like she shows you how to light it, and then you both sat there just trundling along the front, the wind whipping away, just smoking away on your pipes at the front of this wagon. As you're heading towards the further north, and it is a day of travel. It is easy enough, nothing on the road, and again, just nice company, nice chat. But everybody's kind of like getting a little bit sore. You know, this is a full day of travel. This one, getting a little bit achy. You know, there's at times where you're kind of like standing up in the back of the wagon and trying to stretch it off, and sometimes pull over to the side of the road so everybody can go and do their business in the bushes as and when they need. But in general, it's traveling as much as possible. And as it starts getting a little bit dark after a full day of it, in the distance, you kind of see the wind has started picking up. It's a little bit darker. The snow is blustering a little bit more, and you can kind of just see a little glimmer of a lantern light up ahead with a shadow. And as you're approaching, it is a two-story, half-timbered building, and it is the inn. Jenna announces being the selfie stop. And it's as you're kind of approaching up to this like leaded glass windows, and it looks quite a decent, well kept inn for one that is so far out of the way. But obviously, it's the only thing that you've seen for a while. It accommodates seemingly quite a few people. There's quite a lot of large rooms, and then there's a bit of a courtyard at the back area, and there's stables on the back. And as Jenna comes off the road and starts kind of heading round the back with the wagon, we will leave the session there and pick up next week. Seems like as good a place as any to end it.
Nice.
Well, there you go.
That was a fun. That was a fun
Really?
session. That was my favourite session yet.
For a pure social session, I thought we were going to get into some stuff. But yeah, you guys kind of made it a social session. It was very nice.
I'm proud of us.
This is the thing that the Curse of Strahd campaign lacked for 2 years.
Yeah. But then again, if we'd had it from the start, it's already 115 sessions long. If it'd been that early social stuff, would be like 200.
That's true. It's good to see you guys just getting to know each other. I love a little campfire session every so often. It's great. So
Very
there you
good.
go.
I thoroughly enjoyed
Very
that.
happy as
Thank you
well.
very much, DM.
Thank you guys for your involvement and making me improv my ass off. I had nothing planned for any of this. All my plans started from this point.
I thought like we went completely like off script, but I didn't like I couldn't think of where we could be going instead of here, so I was a bit confused about why you had to improv. But now it makes sense.
Yeah, it's I figured it would be a quick trip to the North Gate, and then we'd head out. And but no, there was a little bit of shopping in there. There was some counter like, let's go and buy a load of books. Let's have a bit of a chat. I was like, cool, I like it.
I'm going to click end on the stream. Well, on the recording.
Thank you for watching this recording
You guys.
In the past.
in the past.